Chapter 128. Deacon Qian, you? How can you betray us? They glared at Deacon Qian. Their faces are pale. They didn't expect that Deacon Qian, who led them here, is actually colluding with these pirates. Deacon Qian looked at their shocked expression, and then immediately changed into a grim expression. He sneered and said, "Heaven's top mansion is finished. We don't have resources, we don't have status. If I continue to stay there, how long will it take for me to break through to Spirit Core stage? I don't want to stay in that damn place anymore. It's better to go with Brother Bai. In this sea, even Qing Xian Mansion doesn't dare to break in. It's safer than anywhere else." Deacon Qian personally admitted that he colluded with the pirates. This news undoubtedly has a great impact on them. But they have to admit that what he said is the truth. Heaven's top mansion has declined. It's not even comparable to ordinary second-grade forces. They have very few resources. It's really hard for them to break through to core condensation. No wonder you propose to take us out to gain experience. In fact, you want us to be captured. The yellow-clothed woman is the highest cultivation level. Her name is Yang Shishue, and she has the highest status among them. It seems that she doesn't want to surrender. Yes, you have the highest cultivation level, the best talent. Of course, I brought you here. Deacon Qian's face is grim. Looking at Yang Shishue from head to toe, he said, "Little girl, you are the most delicate. As long as you follow me, I promise I won't let them touch you." Yang Shishue's face is pale. She clenched her teeth and said, "Get out of here, you traitor. Even if we die, we won't let you succeed." After she finished speaking, she took out her sword and placed it across her neck. The other female disciples followed suit and took out their swords. When they were about to commit suicide, Deacon Qian's eyes and hands were already sharp. He snatched the other's sword and slapped it, causing Yang Shishue to fall to the ground. Want to commit suicide? Too naive. Deacon Qian's eyes are cold. What are you waiting for? Do it. At this time, a few of the male disciples in the group suddenly moved. They attacked their female companions, snatching the swords from their hands and stopping them from committing suicide. "Senior sister, why are you in such a hurry? You haven't even had a good time with us?" They laughed evilly. The traitors were not only Deacon Qian, there were also a few male disciples. "That's a wise move. If you follow us, you'll definitely have a good life. Don't worry, we will treat you well. You still have to give birth to our descendants." Bai Yuntao smirked. Their faces became even paler. They would rather die than marry these pirates. "Huang Xiongyu, how could you do this?" The rest of the male disciples who didn't betray pointed at them in anger. They were so angry that their hands were trembling. There were a total of more than 20 of them. Apart from Deacon Qian, there were also a few male disciples who had betrayed them. "Hey, Deacon Qian already told us that we have a better future in Heaven's top mansion. There's no future in Heaven's top mansion, so why bother staying there?" "Exactly. Heaven's top mansion's resources are too little. There's only one pill every month. How can it be called a mansion? We might as well call it the Celestial Pole Palace." They mocked and ridiculed Heaven's top mansion. They thought that Heaven's top mansion was a trash sect and wanted to leave. "Shut up." Yang Shishue angrily said, "Heaven's top mansion's resources are too little, but they have done their best to train us. How could they let us down? Although Heaven's top mansion is in decline now, I believe that sooner or later, they will create glory again." She proudly raised her head. Although Heaven's top mansion is in decline now, at least they treat them well. That's enough. Create glory again? Even if it will be glory in the future, at least you won't see it now. Deacon Qian coldly snorted, "Take them back, I'll teach them a lesson. Heaven's top mansion is nothing but bullshit, they're all useless." "Well said, it's Heaven's top mansion's honor to have you in this generation." At this time, a black shadow landed on the ship. He thought it was a pirate, but he didn't expect it to be a collusion. He hates this kind of people the most. Moreover, it's Heaven's top mansion, a force that has some relationship with him, so he must help them. But he didn't expect that Heaven's top mansion has fallen to this point. Every one of them chose to betray, which is undoubtedly the saddest thing. In the end, it's all about benefits. Without enough benefits, it's impossible to keep their greedy hearts. Who is it? Deacon Qian and the others felt a chill in their hearts. Suddenly, someone appeared next to them. This really gave them a fright. They didn't even know where this person came from. Everyone's eyes were focused on Yi Tianyun. They found a young man standing on the deck, looking at them indifferently. Friends from heaven's top mansion. After that, Yi Tianyun stretched out his hand and used absorbing stars' great technique. A super strong suction force instantly shrouded Deacon Qian. Deacon Qian exclaimed. He didn't even have time to struggle. He was sucked into Yi Tianyun's palm. The spiritual power inside his body was madly sucked out. In less than a moment, half of the spiritual power inside his body was sucked out. What kind of evil technique is this? Deacon Qian struggled, but his body couldn't move at all. After being sucked in, he found that he didn't even have the strength to struggle. He could only watch as Yi Tianyun sucked out his spiritual power. Everyone was shocked. A person fell from the sky and easily controlled Deacon Qian. No one expected this. It's a good technique to deal with you. Yi Tianyun smiled indifferently. Quick, save me. What are you doing? Deacon Qian felt that his spiritual power was sucked out, so he quickly asked Bai Yuntao for help. This time, Bai Yuntao and the others recovered and controlled the flying shark to approach them. But before they could get close, a huge black dragon came down from the sky. They didn't have time to react, and the black dragon heavily pressed them down. Bang! Under this heavy pressure, a group of pirates was directly crushed. Immediately, with a roar, extremely high-temperature flames swept to the side, sweeping a large number of pirates, and they were all ignited by the black flames. After the pirates screamed, they jumped into the water. But when they jumped into the water, they found that the flame can't be extinguished by ordinary seawater. It continued to burn, and their bodies were burned to ashes. Chapter 129. Black Dragon? Bai Yuntao and the others were dumbfounded by the scene. They had seen many demonic beasts, but they had never seen a divine beast like the black dragon before. He had never seen a black dragon in his entire life. Not bad, do you like it? Tianyun smiled and said, Kill them, this group of trash. At this time, they suddenly turned their head and looked at Yi Tianyun as if they saw a ghost. Does this black dragon belong to this young man? It was too late to verify this. The black dragon had already roared and waved his sharp claws to grab them fiercely, tearing the surrounding pirates in half. The black dragon's strength was several times that of a cultivator's, so it could easily tear a person into pieces with its claws. Bai Yuntao screamed in horror and jumped into the water without hesitation. There was only water here to cover their escape. Therefore, even if they were at a disadvantage in terms of cultivation, they had a great advantage in terms of the environment. Basically, they were successful in every endeavor. Unfortunately, they kicked an iron plate this time, and it is a very thick iron plate. The black dragon's mouth is full of fire, aiming at the direction where Bai Yuntao escaped. It spat out a black flame, penetrating the sea in one fell swoop and continued to penetrate deep into the sea. Immediately a burst of bubbles emerged from the bottom of the sea. After a moment, a charred body floated up from below. Ding! Successfully killed by Yuntao, gaining 480,000 EXP, 2200 crazy point. Obtained the skill to control flying shark, martial art diving impact, low-grade earth-level martial art. Ding! Successfully killed Lu Yuqing, gained experience. Ding! Pet black dragon, successfully leveled up to second-level core condensation. In crazy mode, after killing these pirates, the black dragon's EXP soared and quickly broke through to second-level core condensation. The rest of the pirates were killed by the black dragon. The pirates that surrounded them were killed one after another. Some of them were lucky enough to escape because they were far away and quickly jumped into the water. However, that was not the main point. The main point was to kill the leaders. The remaining shrimp soldiers and crab generals were useless. In the blink of an eye, all the pirates were destroyed. The disciples who betrayed heaven's top mansion trembled in fear as they looked at Yi Tianyun in horror. They don't know who Yi Tianyun is, but since Yi Tianyun helped heaven's top mansion, he must be a friend of heaven's top mansion. In that case, what would happen to the traitors? They turned around and jumped into the water, but they were still half a beat too slow. The black dragon had already flown in front of them, and its huge body knocked them back. With a bang, the few people who were about to jump into the water were knocked into the boat, smashing many planks. If you want to escape, you have to ask me first. At this time, Lee Tianyun threw Deacon Qian in front of him. His whole body was paralyzed on the ground. The spiritual power in his body has been completely drained. At the same time, part of his energy was also drained, and many of his meridians were broken. Deacon Qian has become a waste. Not to mention escaping, he can't even stand up. They were overloaded, and they can't move even if they wanted to. Well, it's done. These traitors, how do you want to deal with them? Do you want to take them back to the sect or execute them on the spot? Lee Tianyun looked up at them and asked. He doesn't mind taking Deacon Qian back. Although he gained a lot of experience points, Spirit King Shen Tian gave him a lot of things, even the heavens immersing ancient ruins was given to him. From a moral point of view, it doesn't matter if they take him back. At this time, Yang Shishue, who was the leader, came back to her senses. This scene is too shocking. There is also a black dragon next to them. It seems like everything is so unreal. Everything was over in the blink of an eye. The traitor is already paralyzed on the ground. He doesn't even have the strength to resist. Senior, who are you to our heaven's top mansion? Yang Shishue's voice trembled. Although she knows that Lee Tianyun is not an enemy, but this kind of pressure still makes them tremble. How do I say it? In short, we are friends. Lee Tianyun doesn't know how to describe it. He has a relationship with Spirit King Shen Tian. He is considered as their ancestor's disciple. In this way, he is equivalent to their ancestor. But he didn't say it out loud. He still has important things to do. Friends. Yang Shishue and the others looked at each other and immediately kneeled down and said, Junior thanks Senior for saving our lives. This traitor will be taken back by us and executed by the mansion lord. If Senior has time, I don't know if you can come with us to Heaven's top mansion? I can't for the time being. I still have things to do. You can go back now. I don't think there will be any pirates in this area. There shouldn't be any pirates in this area. Lee Tianyun smiled and said, You still have a lot of things to deal with. Go back and explain it to your mansion lord. I saw your determination just now. Even if Heaven's top mansion is declining now, I believe it will become stronger in the future. Thank you, Senior, for your kind words. Yang Shishue and the others are excited. It's the best thing for them to be recognized by someone. Immediately, Yang Shishue thought for a moment and said, I don't know when Senior will come to our Heaven's top mansion. We have to repay Senior for saving our lives. We will see each other again. Lee Tianyun waved his hand and jumped on the black dragon. He smiled at them and said, I'm optimistic about you. I hope the next time I see you, you will have improved a lot. After that, Lee Tianyun rode the black dragon and flew towards Devil Cloud Island. He quickly disappeared from their sight. Senior Sister Yang, you said that Senior is so young. How did he cultivate? And the black dragon as a mount is too powerful. I don't know who he is in Heaven's top mansion. The junior sister next to Yang Shishue wondered. I'm not sure about that, but since he can save us, he must be a friend of the elders of Heaven's top mansion. Yang Shishue's beautiful eyes are shining with tears. This is the feeling of surviving a disaster. If it weren't for Lee Tianyun, they would have been dead or humiliated to death. It's scary to think about it. Since Senior will tell us about Heaven's top mansion, we will thank him. Yang Shishue turned around and looked at Deacon Qian, who fainted on the ground. Her eyes are cold. Tie them up and bring them back to the mansion lord. Their voice is so loud. Looking at the traitors, they are angry. If it weren't for the sect lord's judgment, they would have already executed them. Chapter 130. After this episode, Lee Tianyun continued on his way to Devil Cloud Island. He didn't expect to meet people from Heaven's top mansion on the way. It seems like there is some kind of relationship between them. It was hard to say whether it was fated or not, but it was such a coincidence that they met in this vast ocean. But even if they are not from Heaven's top mansion, he will still save them. He may not be a good person, but at least he knows what is right and wrong. Dang, successfully completed. Saving a life is better than building a 7-floor pagoda. Achievement, obtained, Savior primary title, permanently increased 200 prestige points. At this time, a message suddenly popped up. which made him stunned. He didn't expect to complete a hidden achievement after saving them. He doesn't need any equipment at all. The effects of these titles are stacked, which means that he suddenly gained 200 prestige points. I didn't expect to complete a savior. I guess the number of villagers I saved before, plus the number of people I saved now, to reach the target? Tianyun smiled. This is different from the Guardian title. It increases his prestige points. But he also saw that it is a primary title. Does it mean that if he continues to save people, he can continue to strengthen this title? But he doesn't know about the Guardian title. It can't be increased. If it continues to stack, it will definitely reach a terrifying value. Especially the prestige points, it is of great help to him now. The success rate of Forging Soul Tool, before it was less than 10%, now it directly increased to 20. With the help of Luck Aura, it is estimated that the success rate can reach 50%. Tianyun was happy, but he didn't intend to give it a try. There is no need to use Luck Aura now. It will only waste Crazy Point. Although increasing 200 prestige points can increase the success rate by 10%, but that is only for the early stage. The later stage is getting more and more difficult. Even increasing the success rate by 5% is extremely difficult. But to be able to increase the success rate by 50% is already amazing, at least not like the previous 10% success rate. That is terrifying. Almost there, Tianyun checked the astrolabe in his hand. Looking at the route, he is almost at the Devil Cloud Island. Finally, after a distance, the Devil Cloud Island came into view. There is no need for any introduction. He knows that it is the Devil Cloud Island. Devil Cloud Island, as the name suggested, was a small island with a mass of black clouds. It looked like lightning was flashing in the black clouds, as if a bolt of lightning would strike down from the sky at any time. But in fact, there will be a lightning strike at any time. If struck, even a core condensation cultivator will die. This black cloud did not cover a large area. It just covered the entire island. The island wasn't big, but it wasn't small either. It was the size of a big city. So this is Devil Cloud Island. It looks a bit strange. Tianyun squinted his eyes and saw a group of demonic beasts wandering around. However, these demonic beasts had crawled out from the bottom of the sea. They were all sea demons. There were giant octopuses, giant sharks, and even giant manatees. Their huge bodies were moving around the Devil Cloud Island, as if they were protecting something. Layer after layer, it looked very strange. Their cultivation varies from Spirit Refinement Realm to Core Condensation Realm. The lowest is at 4th level of Spirit Refinement Realm, and the highest is at 7th level of Core Condensation Realm. At a glance, the number is as many as hundreds. They are all around the edge of the entire Devil Cloud Island. Obviously, this is a very strange behavior. Under normal circumstances, they live underwater. But now they have climbed up, which undoubtedly expose their weaknesses. In the water, their strength is doubled. Taking advantage of the environment, they can easily kill humans, but it's different on the surface. They no longer have the advantage. However, with their strong cultivation, even if they are not in the water, no cultivator would dare to fight them. In addition to Tianyun, there are no cultivators nearby. This place is so dangerous. Not everyone can come here casually. Not everyone can come here on the Black Dragon like Tianyun. Very good, there is no one here, just the right time to attack. Tianyun rode the Black Dragon and rushed down. At this moment, he instantly raised his strength to the maximum. Dragon God Bloodline, activate. Crazy 4 times damage mode, activate. Crazy 4 times EXP mode, activate. 5 times EXP card, activate. 10 times EXP card, activate. 2 times Crazy Point card, activate. Almost all that he can use, he superimposed it. When he swooped down, 1 man and 1 dragon seemed to merge into one, and his strength soared to the extreme. The demon beasts around the Devil Cloud Island, when they sensed the power above their heads, they all looked up. When they saw Tianyun rushing down, they immediately prepared to fight, but with their strength, how can they withstand such a powerful force from Tianyun? Boom! 1 man and 1 dragon fell down. Accompanied by a loud bang, many demon beasts were blown away. The black dragon waved its sharp claws and tore the demon beast next to it. The demon beast was like a thin piece of paper, it was easily torn apart. Lianyun held the chaotic Heaven Saint axe in his hand, and it was as if he was cutting melons and vegetables. He swung the axe fiercely, and the demon beast was immediately cut in half. Ding, successfully killed giant octopus, gained 2000. 000 EXP for 000 crazy point, got an octopus tentacle, eat it for a short period of time. Ding, successfully killed giant sea cow, gained 350,000 EXP, 6. 000 crazy point, got sea cow horn, material. Ding, successfully killed giant walrus, gained 4,000. 000 EXP, 6. 000 crazy point, got walrus skin, material. With the 19 times EXP stacked, plus the double crazy point, the value suddenly skyrocketed. Tianyun specifically killed the demon beasts with higher cultivation, the black dragon specifically hunted the demon beasts with lower cultivation. One man and one beast slaughtered madly, the experience is crazy, good things are constantly dropping, and constantly occupying the inventory. These demon beasts are also not afraid of death, crazily rushed here, this just catered to Tianyun's idea. He came here to continuously hunt these demon beasts, not to look for demon beasts everywhere, it is too much of a waste of time. His experience card can last for up to an hour, after a long time, it will be gone. Ding, pet black dragon successfully broke through to 3rd level core condensation. Ding, pet black dragon successfully broke through to 4th level core condensation. Because the black dragon's level is relatively low, so its speed of leveling up is relatively fast, it suddenly leveled up 2 levels. However, Tianyun still did not level up, after all, he still needs 6 to 7 million EXP, it is not easy to fill it up. Cool, this is the feeling I want, again. Chapter 131. Successfully killed giant walrus, obtained, Tianyun and the black dragon continued to kill the demon beasts. If Snow Wolf was here, its killing speed would undoubtedly be even more amazing. But Tianyun left Snow Wolf in the heavens immersing ancient ruins to protect it, so he didn't bring it out. But their speed was not slow, they were like the Grim Reaper, crazily harvesting the lives of the surrounding demon beasts. Every time he killed a demon beast, he would immediately use the storage ring to store the demon beast's bodies. These bodies must be recycled and sold to the Star Pavilion. Under their crazy killing, Tianyun's level finally increased again. Ding! Congratulations to player Tianyun for successfully breaking through to the 1st level of Spirit Core stage. At the moment of breakthrough, Tianyun felt that his strength suddenly soared a lot. If his previous combat power was only 390,000, now his combat power instantly exploded to 500,000. A full 500,000 battle power, 110,000 battle power higher than before. Of course, this was not just the improvement of his cultivation, but also the upgrade of his Dragon God bloodline. Under the 3rd grade Dragon God bloodline, the dragon scales on his body became harder and more terrifying. With the superposition of quadruple damage, naturally his combat power naturally reached 500,000, which is terrifying. Voila! Tianyun once again swung his axe, instantly harvesting a lot of demon beasts. It was much easier to kill them than before, it was like a piece of paper. This is the cultivation of Spirit Core stage? It's really too strong. Sure enough, the improvement of cultivation is the most fundamental key to improving strength. Tianyun always knew that only after the basic data has been improved, under the 4x mode, will he be stronger. Of course, even without the crazy mode, breaking through to the Spirit Core stage will still be amazing, the watershed between the two is not that simple. After his cultivation erupted, his momentum became even stronger, but the surrounding demon beasts continued to rush towards him like crazy, not afraid of Tianyun at all. Strange, these demonic beasts won't be scared off at all. Could it be that they have lost their minds? After killing for a long time, Tianyun could clearly feel that something was wrong with these beasts. Their eyes were lifeless, as though they were being controlled by something. It looked like they were possessed. Normally, they would stay in their own territories on Devil Cloud Island. Anyone who intruded into their territory would be attacked. Now that they were all gathered together, it was already strange, but now it was even stranger. Usually, when he exploded with such power, although the demon beast's intelligence was not high, it at least knew what fear was and whether it could judge the strength of the enemy. It was obvious that they were much stronger than them, but they still didn't choose to retreat. Instead, they became more and more ferocious. Whatever, the more the merrier. I won't reject anyone. Yi Tianyun couldn't be bothered to care about the problem. Right now, all he needed to do was to kill and earn experience. He didn't need to care about anything else. Then he continued to kill, but the demon beasts here seemed to be endless. They kept climbing up from the sea and besieged him. After an hour of killing, the 10 times EXP card and Crazy Point card were used up. He continued to buy them in the shop and continued to kill. His EXP kept increasing. Hei Long's level had already reached level 7 of core condensation, but Yi Tianyun had not even leveled up once. He had to admit that the amount of experience needed in the later stage was too much. Even if he had more than 10 times EXP, he still needed to kill a lot of demon beasts. Ding! Congratulations to player Yi Tianyun for successfully breaking through to second level Spirit Core stage. Finally, after killing for almost 2 hours, Yi Tianyun was promoted to second level Spirit Core stage. It was really a difficult process. But compared to others, it was already a lot faster. In just 2 hours, he was able to break through to the next level. Who else could do this? He didn't know how long he had been killing, but the demon beasts around him were getting less and less. It seems that the number of demon beasts is not endless, it will eventually decrease. But when he was about to finish killing, a beautiful sound came again. Ding! Congratulations to player Yi Tianyun for successfully breaking through to third level Spirit Core stage. Yi Tianyun didn't expect that at this time, he would still level up. But now the demon beasts were almost all gone, only a small part was left. At most there were 5 or 6 demon beasts left. Soon, the whole Devil Cloud Island became empty. There was not a single monster beast left. Except for this black dragon, which was almost twice the size of the previous one, the rest of the monster beasts had been cleaned up. The ground was full of blood, and the thick smell of blood enveloped the whole island. Boom! As if feeling the blood on the ground, thunder began to rumble in the sky, but it didn't come down, instead, it began to pour. With a whoosh, the rain continued to fall, washing away the bloodstains on the ground. Soon, the bloodstains were all washed away. A lot of blood flowed into the sea, but soon it was completely diluted by the seawater. Sigh, Yi Tianyun let the rain fall on his body, he felt refreshed. After killing for so long, his arms were numb, and he consumed a lot of spiritual power. But this is not a problem. Compared to the experience gained, it's all worth it. It's just that compared to his expectation, it's still too slow. He just broke through to third level Spirit Core stage, it's still too slow. Is there no demon beast left to kill? Yi Tianyun turned his head and looked to the side. There were no demon beasts around, as if everything has returned to peace. Immediately, he opened the property bar to check the current situation. Player, Yi Tianyun level 33, third level Spirit Core stage, EXP, Crazy Point, 878538 Prestige, 430 Sin Point, 231 Cultivation Technique, Dark North Divine Art, Dragon God Secret Art, Xian Tian Divine Art Martial Arts, Absorbing Stars Great Technique, Blood Fiend Soaring Heaven Weapon, Frost Fist, Blood Fiend Divine Spear, Endless Sword, Chaotic Heaven Sacred Axe Armor, Divine Armor, Shadow Cloak, Chaotic Heaven Divine Armor, Chaotic Heaven Battle Boots Divine Ability, Crazy Mode, Luck Aura Bloodline, Dragon God Bloodline Ornaments, Forging God Hammer, Power Bracelet, Power Ring, Power Belt, Blood Fiend Bracelet. All items, 10 Recovery Medicinal Pill, Gift Pack LV31, Life X1, Bad Luck Divine Pill, Blast Divine Pill, Walrus Skin X8, Octopus Tentacles X6, Manatee Horn X8 Treasure, Purple Fire Divine Furnace Title, Guardian, Savior Flame, Immortal Fire. There are a lot of materials in the inventory, but there are no weapons. These demon beasts only drop some materials, there are no precious things, even if the level is not low, but the things they dropped are relatively ordinary. Chapter 132. Seeing such a shocking amount of EXP, this is expected. The higher the level, the EXP will naturally increase, but there is no corresponding opponent, so leveling up is extremely difficult. Wait, what the hell is sin value? Tianyun found that his property bar has a sin value. It has never appeared before, he just saw it. When he checked the sin value, he was stunned on the spot. Sin value. Novice protection ended. Successfully open the sin value system. As long as you kill any life, you will increase the sin value. The higher the sin value, the easier it is to attract the hostility of evil people. The more evil the enemy is, the higher the sin value. Sin value can be exchanged for crazy point, proficiency, EXP, and items in the sin mall. What? Novice protection ended? Tianyun was stunned. This means that he just left the novice protection? Spirit core realm is just a novice protection. Isn't this system definition a bit too high? Spirit core realm is relatively high here. He didn't expect it to be just a novice protection. Compared to this, he is more concerned about the sin value. He didn't expect there to be such a thing. To put it nicely, it is sin value. To put it bluntly, it is to attract hatred. As this thing gets higher and higher, if he meets an arrogant person, he will be the first one to be targeted, and they will be extremely displeasing to the eye. Fortunately, it is only the hostility of evil people. If even normal people are hostile to him, then he will be finished. And this sin mall, what is it? Tianyun opened the mall, but he didn't see the sin mall, so he was a little confused. Forget it, don't think too much, I can already open the level 31 gift pack. Tianyun is very excited about this. Every time he leveled up the gift pack, he hopes it will not let him down this time. Open level 31 gift pack. He clicked on the level 31 gift pack, and immediately everything appeared in front of him. Opened level 31 gift pack, successfully opened the sin mall, obtained 20 times EXP card, 1 hour, 3 times crazy point card, 1 hour, 4 times proficiency card, 1 hour, level 41 upgrade gift pack. There are only 3 things, but there are 20 times EXP card, 3 times crazy point card, and 4 times proficiency card, all of which are treasures that increase benefits. But he is very satisfied. In particular, he was very satisfied with the 20 times experience card. In particular, the experience card could be stacked. This meant that he had bought a 10 times experience card and a 5 times experience card, which would add up to 45 times experience points. Wouldn't the experience be flying? The same is true for the rest of the crazy point cards. They can be stacked. This is not a loophole. It can only be said that it is crazy enough. It's really good stuff, but what's the sin mall? What's the difference between it and an ordinary mall? Following Tianyun opened up the sin mall. When he saw the items on it, he was stunned. It was a whole new world. The difference between the sin market and the normal market was too big. There was only one category, set equipment. The sin market only sold set equipment. Moreover, the price of the set equipment was extremely high. Currently, there were only 2 set equipment on display, both of which were suitable for his current level. Evil Dragon set equipment, level requirement, level 30. After equipping, the wearer can transform into a gigantic evil dragon that is 100 meters long at any time. All strength is increased by 10 times, defense is increased by 20 times, and has the ability to fly and devour. Price is 10,000 sin points. Swordsman set equipment, level requirement, level 30. After equipping, the wearer can learn to control the sword formation at any time. All the long swords within a radius of 10 miles are under the control of the wearer. Up to 10,000 long swords can be controlled by the wearer. Price is 10,000 sin points. Amazing! Tianyun was shocked after seeing it. This can be said to be a god set equipment. Although it only provides 2 kinds, the price is too fierce. 10,000 sin points. How can he earn this amount? This is the amount of sin points that can only be obtained by killing 10,000 lives. Just now, he killed so many people that his hands became soft, but he only got more than 200 sin points. If he killed 10,000 people, he doesn't know how many he would have to kill. As for killing ordinary people or other cultivators, it is obviously impossible, because there is a note below. Only by killing evil people can he get sin points, or killing people who are hostile to him can he get sin points. If he kills ordinary people indiscriminately, then the result is that his sin points will be deducted, and even his level will drop. Moreover, there is no need for enemies to kill him, some strong people will come to kill him. There is no need for sin points at all. Attracting hatred is not something that the system can bring to him. If he kills people indiscriminately, there will definitely be strong people coming to kill him. After all, killing ordinary people indiscriminately has already made him a devil. Some strong people will definitely come to kill him. Of course, even if killing ordinary people can increase his sin points, he will still not do it. Such a cruel thing, he would rather not have any sin points than to do such a thing. He has his own bottom line, he will never hurt people who have nothing to do with him. Only 2 sets of God set equipment, but 10,000 sin points, how can I earn it? Tianyun frowned, and immediately when he sensed that there are people in the sky far away, he quickly kept the black dragon in the pet bar, not taking up any space. Immediately after, he looked up and saw 2 giant eagles flying over. Looking at the familiar feather carriage, Tianyun squinted his eyes. Feather carriage, I don't know who is coming. That old man refused to say what forces are coming. Those who can ride the feather carriage are not ordinary people, of course. They are not limited to Qingxian Mansion. Other sects also have feather carriages. It is a relatively common tool for big sects to go out. Soon, the 2 feather carriages landed, and first, a luxurious young master, wearing luxurious clothes, came out of the carriage, holding an umbrella. Obviously, by circulating his spiritual power, he could easily block the surrounding raindrops, but he still came out holding an umbrella. He looked very handsome and elegant, with a faint smile on his face. He looked very amiable. However, when Tianyun saw him, his face immediately sank, because the clothes he was wearing just happened to have the 2 words Qingxian embroidered on it. There is no doubt that he is from Qingxian Mansion. Enemies really don't meet each other. Immediately he met a person from Qingxian Mansion. Tianyun's eyes narrowed. The other person's information immediately appeared in front of him. Qing Luan, 8th level core condensation stage, wearing a low-grade soul tool, soft golden armor, holding a low-grade soul tool, heaven level umbrella, martial arts, transforming heaven palm, netherworld step, etc. Combat power, 43,000. Chapter 133. Xiaoshi, please slow down. He walked towards the carriage next to him and opened the umbrella, but the carriage ignored him and walked out directly. The person who walked out was a beautiful young woman with a cold expression. She didn't stand with Qing Luan but stood on the side and circulated her spirit energy to block the raindrops. She didn't act pretentious at all. No need, I can do it myself. Yu Shiqian said indifferently and stood a bit further away from Qing Luan. Following them was another woman. Her appearance was slightly inferior to this absolute beauty. Looking at Qing Luan, she revealed an expression of disgust. Qing Luan, why did you come with us? We sisters are out to train, why are you blindly joining us? I'm just worried about you too. I heard that there are a lot of demon beasts here. What if Xiaoshi and Xiaoyu got hurt? Qing Luan said with a gentle smile. There are demon beasts here. Open your eyes wide and see if there are any demon beasts here. Someone came here earlier than us? Xiaoyu was surprised when she saw Tianyun. This place is listed as one of the 5 most dangerous places. She didn't expect that there would be someone who came here earlier than her. Qing Luan looked towards Tianyun's direction. He saw Tianyun before, but he was too lazy to pay attention to him, because in his opinion, Tianyun wasn't worth his time. Hey, you over there, when did you come here? Qing Luan shouted at Tianyun. Tianyun didn't pay attention to him at all. He didn't even bother to look at him. Big brother Qing Luan asked you a question. Why don't you answer? Are you mute? At this time, another person came down from the carriage. He was also wearing the clothes of Qingxian Mansion. His cultivation level was also not bad. Both of them were at 7th level core condensation. Looking at their age, They are definitely the geniuses of the younger generation of Qing Xian Mansion. It must be said that the Qing Xian Mansion's capital was too great, otherwise, it would not be able to stand firm in the heavenly boundary continent. Yi Tianyun stared at him coldly. It seemed like he wasn't the one who was attracting hatred, but the other. This kind of contemptuous gaze showed that he didn't put him in his eyes at all. Mister, it seems like you came here earlier than us. Did you see any beasts on your way here? Yu Shiqian walked over and asked in a friendly manner. She didn't look angry at all. There were demonic beasts, but I killed them all. Yi Tianyun said. Ah, you killed him? Xiao Jianren laughed. If you killed him, where is his corpse? There's nothing here, and you're telling me you were killed? Who are you trying to fool? Speaking of which, the words of the old man from the Star Pavilion are not very reliable. He said that there would be a lot of demonic beasts here, but now there is not a single one. He didn't believe Yi Tianyun's words. Yi Tianyun couldn't be bothered to explain. In any case, he had already said it. Believe it or not, it has nothing to do with me. After saying that, Yi Tianyun turned around and left. He didn't want to stay here any longer. He wanted to go to the center of the Devil Cloud Island to see if there was anything here. Since those demonic beasts were behaving strangely, there must be something here. Otherwise, they wouldn't have gathered here. As for the two people from the Qing Xian Mansion, Yi Tianyun wasn't in a hurry to kill them. He didn't know which sect was next to them. If the news of him killing a disciple from the Qing Xian Mansion were to spread, it wouldn't be a good thing. Xiao Jianren saw that Yi Tianyun was ignoring him. Just when he was about to stop him, Qing Luyun stopped him and said indifferently, "Don't be impulsive, Xiao Shi and the others are here. It won't look good if you stain this place with blood." Fine, I'll spare his life. Xiao Jianren snorted coldly, but he still felt very unhappy. Xiao Shi, let's go around and see if there are other demonic beasts here. I heard that there are some strange phenomena here. Maybe there are some rare treasures here. Qing Luyun said with a gentle smile. Young Master Qing, please don't call me that intimately. Yu Shiqian said indifferently. After saying that, Yu Shiqian left first. Zhao Yu quickly followed behind her. Qing Liuyun's eyes flashed with anger, but he suppressed it in his heart. He and Xiao Jianren looked at each other and quickly followed behind Yu Shiqian. Yi Tianyun was the first one to leave. After walking around in a circle, he didn't see anything. Instead, he saw the four people gathered in front of a stone tablet. Tianyun saw a stone tablet that looks like a hill. It's 10 feet high, and there are a lot of words engraved on it. Even if you are on the hill, you can see it clearly. You don't need to go closer to see it. Originally, the stone tablet was quite high, so he could see it very clearly. However, he still went down the hill and looked at it from a close distance. When he walked down, the four people looked at him. It's you? When Xiao Jianren saw Yi Tianyun, his eyes flashed with anger. If Qing Luyun didn't stop him, he would have already grabbed Yi Tianyun and beat him up. What's the matter? Yi Tianyun looked at him indifferently. I asked you a question just now, but you didn't answer. Xiao Jianren said angrily. I have already answered all the questions. Whether you believe me or not is none of my business. Yi Tianyun didn't have a good impression of Qing Xian Mansion, plus their attitude was very bad. He was even more dissatisfied. If it weren't for the fact that someone was here, he would have already slapped them to death. Oh, so arrogant. Xiao Jianren was about to step forward but was pulled back by Qing Luyun. Don't worry about him, let's observe the stone tablet first. Qing Luyun said to Xiao Jianren. Xiao Jianren suppressed his anger and turned around, no longer paying attention to Yi Tianyun. Yi Tianyun was also too lazy to pay attention to him. His eyes were fixed on the stone tablet. He wanted to see what was written on it. Oh, you also want to see the stone tablet? Xiao Jianren's mouth can't stop talking, and seeing Yi Tianyun staring at the stone tablet, he is very unhappy. Is there a problem? Yi Tianyun looked at him indifferently. There is no problem, it's just that some things are dependent on talent. Xiao Jianren said in a sarcastic tone. In that case, what did you comprehend from the stone tablet? Yi Tianyun said indifferently. I didn't comprehend anything, but my big brother did. Xiao Jianren looked at Qing Luyun and signaled with his eyes. The two of them looked at Xiao Jianren and their beautiful eyes were filled with surprise. They couldn't understand the stone tablet, let alone comprehend it. If Qin Luyun was able to comprehend it, then he would be a big genius. Although the content of the stone tablet is a bit obscure, I still managed to comprehend a little bit. For me it's not a small benefit. Qin Luyun said stubbornly. With so many people watching, he naturally wouldn't say that he didn't comprehend anything. His expression was leisurely and contented. He was holding a fan in his hand, gently fanning himself. His eyes revealed a complacent smile. Now that the rain has stopped, the umbrella in his hand was replaced by a fan, making him look even more pretentious. Chapter 134. Yi Tianyun gave him a meaningful look. No wonder you are from Qingshen Mansion. Pretending to know something you don't know is just to show off in front of the two girls. If it was any other force, he wouldn't care about it, but Profound Azure Mansion was different, and they were so arrogant. Is that so? Can you tell us what is written on it? Yi Tianyun knocked on the stone tablet. There is not much engraved on it, it's just a row of words, but they can't understand it. It's like a crooked snake. How can they understand it? Are you an idiot? How can you tell us what you have comprehended? Can't you understand it? Qin Luyun said disdainfully. If you have the ability to comprehend it yourself, then tell us. Yu Shiqian and Zhao Yu frowned. They felt that Yi Tianyun was being rude. There were some things that could only be understood and not conveyed in words, but it wasn't that there were none. Even if he knew it, why would he say it? Yi Tianyun looked at Qin Luyun as if he was looking at an idiot. He knocked on the tombstone and smiled. I'm sorry, I know what is written on it. Not only do I know it, I can also tell you. Yu Shiqian and Zhao Yu's eyes lit up. They didn't know whether Yi Tianyun was telling the truth or not. Qin Luyun thought that Yi Tianyun was just bluffing, so he sneered and said, well, if you have the guts, then tell me what you want to tell me. Of course, it's not a problem. The words engraved on it are not the language we use. I believe everyone can see that. In fact, this tombstone is written in an ancient language. It's the language of the spirit race, so it's normal that you can't understand it. Let me tell you, the words engraved on it are very simple. It says Huan Qin's tomb. The name engraved on the bottom is Lei Yun. Yi Tianyun looked at Qin Luyun with a surprised expression. He shook his head and said, I say, friend, you were able to comprehend something just by looking at a tombstone, and you even benefited a lot from it. You are really talented. In any case, I can't see anything. Just consider me stupid. After all, it's just a tombstone. How can I see a heaven-tier martial art? He didn't make this up. He had seen this kind of text in Jade Palace. He felt that it was obscure and difficult to understand, so he specially studied it, so he didn't dare to say that he understood it, but at least most of it is not a problem. You're talking nonsense. Qin Luyun's face turned red. Even if he died, he wouldn't accept Yi Tianyun's explanation. If he followed Yi Tianyun's explanation, then he really would be an idiot. If he could comprehend something just by looking at a tombstone, then that would be really strange. I'm talking nonsense? Yi Tianyun smiled faintly and said, if I'm spouting nonsense, you can slap me all you want. I won't fight back. Even if you think about it, if it's really precious, it would have been taken away a long time ago. Although this is a dangerous place, it doesn't mean that no one came here. Although the spirit race's language is strange, there are still some people who understand it. If you don't believe me, you can ask. Do you really think you can see something from this tombstone? If you really can see it, then you are absolute geniuses. You can see something just by looking at a tombstone. You are really a genius. Yi Tianyun clapped his hands and said sarcastically. After his explanation, Yu Shiqian and Zhao Yu really felt that it was very credible. So Qin Luyun is really pretending? Good, very good. Qin Luyun said angrily, you are just playing tricks. Do you think anyone will believe you? I don't know if anyone will believe me or not. You guys take your time to comprehend it, I'll leave first. Yi Tianyun smiled faintly and said, comprehend a tombstone, does it mean that you want to enter the coffin faster? After saying that, he couldn't be bothered to pay any more attention to him. He lifted his foot and walked forward. Qin Luyun's face turned cold as he looked at Yi Tianyun's back. His eyes were filled with killing intent. Qin Luyun didn't say anything. He turned to Yu Shiqian and said, Shao Shi, Don't listen to his nonsense. This tombstone is not a tombstone. He wanted to say something else, but he didn't know what to say. It doesn't matter anymore. I will call someone from the spirit race to take a look at it later. Yu Shiqian said to Zhao Yu, Sister Zhao, let's go to other places. Strange, there are no demonic beasts here. Didn't they say that there are a lot of demonic beasts here? They didn't pay attention to Qin Luyun and Xiao Jianren. They just turned around and left. Qin Luyun looked at their departing figures and viciously crushed the fan in his hand before tossing it to the side with a cold glint in his eyes. Brother, I can't take it anymore. Xiao Jianren's eyes were filled with anger. His anger towards Yi Tianyun had reached its peak. Some people don't want to live long. They don't want to offend me. They will die. Qin Luyun said angrily, Go surround him. Let him know the consequences of provoking us. Tombstone, it seems like there is a graveyard in this area. I wonder where it is? Yi Tianyun said as he looked around the forest to see if there was anything special. But after a few steps, he stopped, looked at the front and said indifferently, There is no need to hide in the front. Come out. It seems like you have some skill. Xiao Jianren said. Xiao Jianren walked out from the back and blocked Yi Tianyun's way. Both of them were furious. It seemed like their eyes were about to explode. What's the matter? Yi Tianyun looked at them. Of course there is. It is to let you know the consequences of provoking us. As soon as he finished speaking, Xiao Jianren stepped on the ground with a short sword in his hand and attacked Yi Tianyun. His legs instantly burst out a powerful force, causing the ground to slightly sink. Heavenly Tiger Stomp. Xiao Jianren turned into a huge heavenly tiger, grew a pair of wings and pounced towards Yi Tianyun. His footsteps were light and heavy, leaving footprints of different depths on the ground. He sprinted like a ferocious tiger. His attacks were even more ferocious. Roar! Spiritual power burst out. A heavenly tiger appeared behind him and pounced towards Yi Tianyun. The short sword in his hand flickered with a cold light. His only goal was to take his life. Yi Tianyun didn't immediately counterattack. He just stood in the same place, not even in a defensive state. All of his attacks were instantaneous, making it difficult for the enemy to predict his moves. Go to hell for me. Xiao Jianren's face was ferocious. The short sword in his hand fiercely stabbed down. At this moment, Yi Tianyun was even faster. He grabbed Xiao Jianren's arm and heavily smashed him to the ground with lightning speed. Come down for me. Another shoulder throw. The violent force of the fall, even a heavenly tiger, can be suppressed by the violent force. Bang! Chapter 135. In the blink of an eye, Xiao Jianren was easily thrown to the ground by Yi Tianyun, creating a crater on the ground. Their cultivation is not low, but Yi Tianyun is more domineering. Crack! At the same time, Yi Tianyun twisted his arm fiercely and broke Xiao Jianren's arm. Xiao Jianren screamed in pain. Xiao Jianren was about to faint, but under the severe pain, Xiao Jianren couldn't stay conscious anymore. My arm. Ah! Xiao Jianren screamed and tried to break free from Yi Tianyun's grip, but Yi Tianyun kicked the short sword that fell to the ground and grabbed it. Like a galaxy falling down from the sky, Yi Tianyun grabbed the short sword and stabbed it into Xiao Jianren's chest, and finally, the short sword completely sank into the hilt. Clean and neat, no sloppiness, easily killed a person. Xiao Jianren's eyes widened. He could still move a little, but then he stopped breathing. Ding! Successfully killed Xiao Jianren, gained 68,000 EXP, 1700 crazy point, transforming heaven palm, netherworld step, recovery pill. Obtained martial arts transforming heaven palm, netherworld step, 1 recovery pill. What they dropped were still these martial arts. Although they were earth class, they had always been repetitive. Originally, they only knew these, so of course these were the only things that dropped. Unless there are some special cases, otherwise, the martial arts that dropped are the ones that they cultivated. But earth-level martial arts is very good. It's either sell it or use it to fuse. It's not bad. Others are very eager to get their hands on earth-level martial arts, but Yi Tianyun has too many earth-level martial arts, so he feels that they are too low-level. Originally, these Earth-level martial arts are not bad, the price is not bad, so he feels that it is a bit low-level, it would be good if it is a bit higher. It's your turn. Yi Tianyun quickly turned around and looked at Qing Luyun, who was about to attack him. Qing Luyun took a few steps back, the long sword in his hand trembled. This terrifying burst of power made Qing Luyun know that he kicked an iron plate. You killed my junior brother. Do you know who we are? Qing Luyun couldn't even speak properly. His eyes were filled with fear. He was no fool, and he could tell with a single glance that there was something wrong with Lin Fan's skillful killing technique. He had thought that Yi Tianyun was just a kid who was passing by. Even if his cultivation was not low, he did not expect him to be this powerful. Oh, you're starting to threaten me with your identity? Yi Tianyun said indifferently, it's meaningless to move to the Qin Xian mansion. I even dared to kill your Elder Wei and Inspector Gu. Do you think I won't dare to touch you? What? Elder Wei and Inspector Gu are dead. Qing Liuyun's eyes widened in disbelief. They all knew about Elder Wei's cultivation. He was a spirit core cultivator, but he was still killed by Yi Tianyun. What was Yi Tianyun's real cultivation level? Judging from Qing Liuyun's shocked expression, it was obvious that the news didn't reach him, and he was very satisfied with it. Yes, they wanted to control Jade Palace, so I killed them. Your mansion lord wants our palace lord to be his concubine? TSK, it's really shameless. Do you really think that Qin Xian mansion is invincible? Yi Tianyun sneered, I didn't have any intention to kill you, but since you made the first move, don't blame me for being ruthless. Jade Palace, you are from Jade Palace? This means that when you said that all the demonic beasts were killed by you, it wasn't a lie? Qing Luyun looked at him incredulously. He really can't imagine how Jade Palace can have such a strong cultivator. Yes, I told you the truth from the beginning, but you didn't believe me. Now you know, so you can die in peace. Boom. Yi Tianyun didn't talk nonsense with Qing Luyun anymore, he just sprinted towards Qing Luyun. He didn't use any technique, he just used his sturdy body to collide with Qing Luyun. His speed was too fast for Qing Luyun to react. He could only desperately brandish the long sword in his hand and thrust it toward Yi Tianyun, bursting out his strongest power, making a final struggle. Yi Tianyun didn't even look at Qing Luyun, he continued to rush forward, pushed the long sword aside, and at the same time hit Qing Luyun with his sturdy shoulder. At the moment of contact, Qing Liuyun's spiritual power immediately detonated. Bang! Qing Luyun was knocked out and stuck on the thick trunk. Qing Luyun let out a muffled groan as he slid down the thick tree trunk. His body had already caved in. How could they possibly withstand such a violent impact? I don't want to die. Qing Liuyun's expression is full of horror. He really doesn't want to die. As a young generation, he is really afraid of death. You don't want to die? I don't want to kill people at will, but it's a pity that you provoked me and even wanted to kill me. Yi Tianyun's eyes are cold. He immediately kicked the long sword that fell on the ground and immediately turned into a cold light that penetrated Qing Liuyun's heart. Qing Liuyun's eyes widened. He shouted with some inarticulate words, Old ancestor will avenge us. Ding, successfully killed Qing Luyun, gained 72,000 EXP, 1,800 crazy points. Obtained martial art transforming heaven palm, netherworld step, flowing cloud long sword, low-grade soul tool. Avenge? Yi Tianyun sneered. There is no need to wait for them to come for revenge. When my strength increases, I will personally visit them. Yi Tianyun quickly dealt with the two bodies. After emptying their things, he threw 2 balls of immortal fire and burned them to ashes. Destroying the corpses is easy, no one will find out about it. This was the result he wanted. He didn't want to alert the enemy. As long as his cultivation was high enough, profound Azure Mansion was nothing in front of him. It's almost done, let's continue to look around. Yi Tianyun continued to walk around the hill to see if he can find anything strange. However, after walking for a while, they bumped into Yu Shiqian and the others again. They were stunned. Yu Shiqian nodded lightly. Young master, why are you still here? What's wrong? Is there a demonic beast here? Yi Tianyun smiled. Not really, you provoked Qing Luyun. They must be looking for you everywhere. If you continue to stay here, it's easy to get yourself killed. Yu Shiqian kindly reminded. Thank you for reminding me, I will keep it in mind, but I am not in a hurry to leave, I plan to stay here for a while. Yi Tianyun smiled. It seems that Yu Shiqian is very kind, she knows how to remind a passerby like him. In that case, young master, please be careful. Yu Shiqian didn't say anything more, she just left with Zhao Yu. After they left, Yu Shiqian shook her head. Let's go, there is nothing to see here. That person didn't leave, I don't know which sect he is from, but he came here alone, isn't he a little too bold? Zhao Yu said unhappily, how can he know the ancient language of the spirit race? Is what he said true? I think it's true. Yu Shiqian shook her head. Forget it, he has his own ideas, we can't change it, but if Qin Luyun finds him, he will be in danger. Yu Shiqian saw that Yi Tianyun saw through Qin Luyun's lies, so she warned him, plus she hated Qin Luyun, so she warned him. Chapter 136. There must be some kind of treasure here. Maybe it's related to the spirit tribe. Otherwise, why would the beasts wander around here? Tianyun frowned and continued to walk around the island, looking for every detail. Since there was a tombstone here, there must have been a great battle here and someone died here. There might be a tomb here. Of course, it could also be a memorial, which was why there was a tombstone here. Holding on to some hope, he circled around the area, but he didn't find any entrance. It was just a forest. That's strange. I can't see anything. Is it not in this area? Yi Tianyun frowned. He was very disappointed. Didn't this mean that he had searched for nothing? However, he did not give up. After walking around again, he finally saw some small words on a few trees. They were carved in the language of the spirit tribe. The language of the spirit tribe is carved on these trees. Let me decipher it. After reading it again, he connected the words engraved on it and formed a sentence. The gate to heaven? Then he spoke in an incomprehensible voice. However, after he read it out, it was useless. Useless? Yi Tianyun looked at the trees. It was obvious that there was a formation here, something similar to a transportation formation. However, he could not activate it now. After studying it for a while, he finally found out that he could only activate the formation using the language of the spirit tribe. However, he had already tried it before and it was useless. Do I have to use spiritual energy? Then Yi Tianyun tried it again. He read it again, but this time, he used his spiritual energy and merged it into the voice. When he read it, it was very magical. It was completely different from before. It was as if he was using his mother tongue. It was very spiritual. After he said it, the trees surrounding him lit up and enveloped him. In the next moment, he disappeared on the spot. However, nothing had changed here. It was as if nothing had happened. Yi Tianyun felt his vision blur, and then he found himself in an empty cave. Looking up, he saw that the surroundings were inlaid with luminous pearls, illuminating the pitch-black tunnel. Just this alone was enough to prove that this place was definitely not simple. Every single night pearl was a priceless commodity. If one was dug out and sold, it could be exchanged for a lot of gold and silver. We're finally in. Yi Tianyun's eyes lit up. Sure enough, he needed to infuse his voice with spiritual energy to activate the array. Otherwise, no matter how he chanted, it would be useless. Thankfully, he understood a bit of the spirit race's language. Otherwise, he would have made a wasted trip. How magical! If it weren't for Auntie's knowledge of the spirit tribe's language, I wouldn't have been able to enter. Yi Tianyun shook his head. He didn't know how Shi Shuiyun understood the spirit tribe's language so well. If it weren't for Shi Shuiyun, he wouldn't have understood this language at all. At first, it was Shi Shuiyun who taught him how to read it, otherwise he really wouldn't have understood it. I don't know what's in here, is it really the tomb? He narrowed his eyes. According to the inscription on the tombstone, it was called Huan Qin's tomb. As for who this Huan Qin was, he wasn't very clear. In any case, he had to move forward carefully. When he first entered the Dragon God Shrine, he encountered some traps. If he was killed by the traps here, it would be a big loss for him. However, it turned out that he was overthinking. There were no traps along the way, and it was very smooth. As he continued to go deeper, it became hotter and hotter. A hot wind blew out from the inside, which looked very strange. But it didn't affect him at all. He was now at the spirit core stage, so ordinary heat was not a problem for him. When he completely walked out of the tunnel and stepped into the space in front of him, his eyes suddenly opened up. What greeted his eyes was a field of fire dragon stones, and the surroundings were filled with fire dragon stones. Layer after layer of heat waves were constantly released, enveloping the entire space. If an ordinary person were to enter, they would definitely be burnt to a crisp. This is a fire dragon stone. Yeonyun squinted his eyes and looked at it. This thing was generally found in some dangerous places. It looked like a red stone that vaguely looked like a dragon. It was coiled on the surrounding wall and looked very lifelike. Fire dragon stone contained a very strong fire attribute spiritual energy. It looked like a piece of red-hot iron. The price was relatively high, and it was used by cultivators who specialized in fire attribute cultivation. He didn't expect to find so many fire dragon stones here, which was amazing. Who is it? A sharp voice came from the front. Yeonyun looked towards the direction of the sound and found that there was a sturdy cage in the center of the space. The cage was made of fire dragon stone. In this cage, there was a delicate young girl sitting in the middle of the cage, staring at him with eyes full of vigilance and anger. A living person? Yeonyun was shocked. He didn't expect that there would be a living person here. He thought that this was a tomb and there was nothing inside. At most, there would be a corpse. It seems that he was wrong. The girl in front of him was at most 16 or 17 years old. She was very beautiful. Her silver hair fell down and sprinkled on the ground. Her frail body was trapped in this cage, and she looked very pitiful. Staring at him with her beautiful silver eyes, it was full of anger. There was no pitiful look in her eyes, only stubborn and arrogant eyes, which did not match her delicate body. Especially the aura that she exuded, it was not so simple. She was definitely a strong cultivator. From the aura that she exuded, Yeonyun judged that her cultivation level was at least above core condensation. He estimated that she was trapped here, so her cultivation level seemed to be lower, so her real strength may be stronger. This can be sensed from the cold air that she exuded. With her as the center, a small area was frozen into a thick layer of ice, but it was quickly melted by the surrounding fire dragon stones. Overall, it seemed like she had been suppressed by the surrounding fire dragon stones. Furthermore, this cage made of fire dragon stones had suppressed her strength, causing her to only be able to move around in this small area. There was a tombstone outside, but there was a living person inside. This made him very surprised. According to the engravings on the outside, it should be called Huanchin, or maybe not. In any case, it was a fact that there was a living person here, and she was not an ordinary person. From her appearance, it can be seen that she was somewhat different from ordinary people. There were a few divine runes on her face. He heard that spirit race would have this kind of divine runes on their body. Chapter 137. Judging from the tombstone outside, it should be a tomb, but in front of him was not a tomb, there was a living person. A living person was trapped here, and it was a spirit race. This was somewhat intriguing. You are not from the spirit race? After looking at him for a while, the girl was shocked. If he wanted to come here, he must be very familiar with the spirit race's language, otherwise, he would not be able to come here. The greatest difference between the spirit race and the spirit race was their divine inscriptions. Their faces had faint traces of divine inscriptions, and on the forehead of this young girl, there were two faint divine inscriptions that formed a circle. They were the darlings of the divine rune world. They were too talented in drawing divine runes. If there was a comprehensive ranking of divine rune masters, 6 or 7 of the top 10 would definitely be occupied by the spirit race. This was the reason why they were so talented. Of course, I am not from the spirit race, I am just passing by. I wonder if you are the girl named Huanchin? Yeonyun looked at her up and down. It was definitely not easy to be imprisoned here. Who would have thought that there would be a girl imprisoned in such a dangerous place like Devil Cloud Island? How do you know my name? The girl was vigilant. She had already admitted that the name was hers. I saw it from the tombstone outside. It was engraved with the name Huanchin. It was left behind by some thundercloud. I thought there was a dead person here. I didn't expect you to be imprisoned here. Tianyun shook his head. Thundercloud. It seems that if I don't tell you the secret, this place will be my grave. Huan Qin's eyes suddenly became extremely cold, killing intent burst out from her eyes. She didn't look like a 16 or 17-year-old girl at all. Tianyun didn't intend to treat her as a girl. He was afraid that she was an old monster who was temporarily sealed here. Immediately, Huan Qin's eyes narrowed. She turned to look at Tianyun and said coldly, "How did you get in here? If you don't know the spirit race's language, it's impossible to come in. Is there someone hiding behind, or did Thundercloud bring you in?" "I don't know anything about this Thundercloud you're talking about. I just know a little bit of the spirit race's language, so I came here by accident." Tianyun shrugged his shoulders, looked at the cage and shook his head. "Besides, why would I come in here? What information would I get from you? Do you think yourself an idiot, or do you think I'm an idiot? Just because a stranger comes in and tries to get close to you, he can get secrets out of you? I thought there was some kind of treasure here, but it seems like I was thinking too much." Huan Qin was startled, but after thinking about it, she felt that it did make sense. "I'm thinking too much. Then can you help me get out?" Huan Qin hurriedly shouted, "I believe you are not sent by that person. As long as you save me, I will pay you enough. Not only did I give you an Earth-level martial art, but I also gave you quite a number of Dan formulas. It will definitely make you a powerhouse." Huan Qin threw out a tempting reward. For others, it was a good reward. "The reward is good, but little sister, why do you think I can open this cage?" Tianyun said indifferently, "Even if I take a step back, I don't know why you're imprisoned here. If you're a big devil after I get you out, it won't be a good thing. So what if I have an Earth-level martial art? I'm afraid I won't be alive to learn it." Huan Qin didn't know what to say. She had already thrown out her reward. What else could she say? "If I'm a big devil, there will be no good people in the world." Huan Qin's beautiful eyes were gloomy, full of sarcasm and sadness. Tianyun was silent for a while, then looked up at her and said, "The spirit race and I have a bit of fate. Saving you is not a problem. But first, you have to tell me why you're imprisoned here." Tianyun didn't think of himself as a good person, but he was definitely not a heinous bad person, so he would more or less help others. He didn't know why this Huan Qin girl was imprisoned, so he had to understand her. If she was a heinous devil, he would not save her. Huan Qin girl looked at him in silence for a while, not knowing where to start. After thinking for a while, Huan Qin girl said, "Well, if you're sent by Lei Yun, there's no harm in telling me. It's not a secret at all. The reason why I'm imprisoned here is very simple. They want to get the secret of the spirit race from me. Now they can't get the secret out of me and they won't let me out, because I'm the next holy maiden of the spirit race, so I won't be able to get the position. After being replaced by someone else, there will be a chance to regain the secret of the spirit race, so I'm just a waste now." Her eyes were full of anger and sadness. She was locked in this cage for the rest of her life. How could she not be sad? Tianyun looked at her eyes, and from her expression, he could see that Huan Qin was not lying. Holy maiden of the spirit race? This reminded him of Jiulingyun. There was a new saintess training plan. Was it also from the spirit tribe? But he didn't see any trace of the spirit race on Jiulingyun. Even the spirit race can't avoid the struggle for power. Tianyun narrowed his eyes. The spirit race was already short of people, but they still wanted to fight for power. Wasn't it the same as destroying themselves? Do you think that the spirit race would do this? We have always lived in harmony. All of this is caused by Lei Yun, the dog of the Netherworld Empire. For your own selfish desires, you say it's for the good of the spirit race, but in fact, you're just competing for the position of patriarch. You're completely blinded by power. Huan Qin's beautiful eyes were filled with anger. She couldn't wait to kill her fellow spirit race member named Lei Yun, the dog of the Netherworld Empire. Tianyun's face sank. This was related to the 4th level forces, which had a lot of core transformation stage cultivators and even void spirit stage cultivators. The area under the control of an empire was really big. The Netherworld Empire will strongly support him to become the patriarch of the spirit race, but there is a corresponding condition. After he becomes the patriarch of the spirit race will become the vassal of the Netherworld Empire. Quan Qin said angrily, "Our spirit race has never been attached to other forces, we have always been independent, we have never been involved with the forces of the Netherworld Empire. The reason why the Netherworld Empire did this is to stabilize their position." No wonder, Tianyun squinted his eyes, he finally knew the ins and outs of the matter. Ding! Activating the hidden line, save the holy maiden of the spirit race. The decision will affect the structure of the world. Please make a careful decision. Do you want to accept this hidden line? Affect the structure of the world? Tianyun was startled for a second, then immediately smiled. Interesting, how can I not change the world? Accept. Chapter 138. This is the first time he encountered a task that could change the world. If he didn't encounter this task, he would still be able to change the world. But it doesn't have much impact on him. After all, the life and death of the spirit race has nothing to do with him. But now that he has saved them, the impact will be huge. If Quan Qin dies, it won't matter much. But if Quan Qin doesn't die and stabilizes the spirit race, then the relationship between Tianyun and the spirit race will be completely different. After that, he will be able to get some support. But the randomness is too big, no one can predict the situation. I understand now, I believe you, Tianyun said with a smile. Okay, I will help you break this cage now, Tianyun said with a smile. Wait a minute. Quan Qin hurriedly stopped him. You have to break the seal outside and help me remove this cage, then I will break it myself. What is the seal outside? Tianyun asked. It's the monolith you saw. As long as you throw that monolith away, the seal's effect will be greatly reduced. Quan Qin said, now it's a bit loose, breaking it shouldn't be a problem. By the way, there are so many demon beasts outside, is it because of you? Tianyun asked. There are a lot of demon beasts outside? Quan Qin shook her head and said, that's not because of me. I am locked here, so I can't affect the situation outside. But I think you must have encountered a gathering of demon beasts. This Devil Cloud Island is very strange. Every once in a while, groups of demon beasts will gather together and then be struck to death by the lightning falling from the Devil Cloud Island. It feels like they are sacrificial offerings. Because of this, the Thunder Cloud imprisoned me here. With these demonic beasts as a cover, I don't think anyone will come up. There is such a situation? Tianyun was taken aback. This Devil Cloud Island is really strange. Every once in a while, they will gather together. So, every once in a while they can come over to clean up a batch? After leveling up 3 times in a row, he had tasted the sweetness of this place. If he used the 20 times experience, it would definitely be amazing. We're not sure about that. Devil Cloud Island is very strange, and there are a lot of natural fire dragon stones here, which just happens to restrain me. Quan Qin laughed at herself. I was the one who discovered this place, but I didn't expect it to become my prison. Thinking of this, it was indeed a little ironic. Let's not talk about this sad thing. I'll save you. I'll help you break it now. Wait for my news. Tianyun smiled and walked out. Wait a minute. Quan Qin suddenly shouted. What? Tianyun turned around and looked at her with a smile. You're worried that I won't be able to return, so you don't want me to leave? So what if you run away? I can't do anything about it. Quan Qin took out a small bottle of pills and directly threw it into Tianyun's hand. These are some recovery pills. If you consume too much of your strength, take these pills. Also, there is the spirit race's language on it. As long as you read it and use your own strength, you will be able to lift it. Aren't you afraid that I'll run away with these pills? Tianyun smiled. I can feel that you're not that kind of person. Quan Qin said with a light smile. Interesting. Tianyun put away the pills, turned around and disappeared into the passage. When he went out again, he quickly returned to the tombstone. There was no one here. Yu Shiqian had already left. There are very few cultivators in the Devil Sea danger zone, so he wasn't afraid of anyone here. This tombstone is a seal. It's really amazing. Yi Tianyun came in front of the tombstone, reached out his hand and grabbed the tombstone, then fiercely lifted it up. He used most of his strength, but he couldn't lift it even a little bit. As expected, it can't be carried. I need to use the language of the spirit tribe to break this seal. He had already used most of his strength. If it was a level 1 spirit core stage cultivator, he would be able to kill them with one punch, but he didn't expect that he couldn't lift a tombstone. Immediately, he took out the spirit race's language given by Huan Qin and nodded his head. The general meaning was, Divine Seal of Annihilation. Very good, then let's start. The next moment, he began to use his strength and began to crazily lift the tombstone. Divine Seal of Annihilation. As he chanted, he lifted the stone tablet and exerted all his strength to lift it up. With a rumbling sound, the stone tablet was slowly lifted up, but the seal actually began to slowly restore itself. It was truly terrifying. Divine Seal of Annihilation. Yi Tianyun said it again. The seal slightly loosened, but he continued to lift it. Overall, it's still not enough. I don't believe it. Go up. Tianyun roared, the veins on his arms were bulging, the dragon god bloodline burst out, and the power suddenly burst out. Boom. The stone tablet was pushed to the side by him and fell to the ground. The heavy stone tablet caused the soil beside it to sink in, but the seal had undoubtedly been opened. A burst of light emerged from the mountain and then disappeared. This thing is really difficult to break. I didn't expect a spirit core stage cultivator to have such difficulty lifting a tombstone. The spirit race's heritage is really terrifying. Yi Tianyun's eyes narrowed. He had seen the effect of this spirit rune. If he didn't have a way to break it with his current cultivation, he really couldn't break this seal. If such a seal was placed on an ancient site, it would truly be indestructible. Anyone who came would be able to resist it. This is the same as the heavens immersing ancient ruins. If he could restore the formation, it would definitely be very effective, but his current level is still too low. It seems that I have to find some time to cultivate the divine rune mastery. Once I improve it, it will be easier to repair the heavens immersing ancient ruins. Yi Tianyun made up his mind. After everything is over, he will cultivate the divine rune mastery. In this world, the status of a divine rune master is quite high, and there are many uses for it. Okay, I can go back. Yi Tianyun turned around and went back to the mountain. He circled around and returned to the space inside the mountain from the side. When Huan Qin saw Yi Tianyun came back, her eyes were filled with gratitude. She immediately whispered, "Thank you, there is no need to thank me. If you can come out of there quickly, it is the best way to thank me. At least I didn't waste my effort." Yi Tianyun didn't consume too much energy, so he's fine. Chapter 139. Without saying too much nonsense, Huan Qin continued to destroy the cage. The power of the extreme cold constantly impacted the cage, trying to freeze the cage of the fire dragon stone, and then break the cage to get out. However, this ice clearly wasn't powerful enough. No matter how hard it tried to attack the stone pillars, it was quickly suppressed by the surrounding fire dragon stones, forcing the cold air back. At this time, Huan Qin's face was pale. Obviously she had consumed too much energy, but she gritted her teeth, trying to break the cage. This is her only hope. Not enough power. When Yi Tianyun stood up and walked into the cage, a wave of heat hit him and drilled into his body through his pores. In an instant he felt a scorching energy rumbling within his body. However, he was completely fine. The stone pillar has been opened. How come the power is still so terrifying? Yi Tianyun frowned. Now that he walked in, he felt that the flame inside was even more terrifying. No wonder Huan Qin couldn't destroy this cage. The suppression around her is enough to make her suffer, and she can still hold on for so long. At this time, Huan Qin finally couldn't stand it anymore. She loosened her hands and sat on the ground. Her face was pale. Still can't break the cage? Yi Tianyun was worried. It's still useless. I tried several times. Although the seal was lifted, my power was suppressed too much. I can't break the cage at all. Give up, thank you. Huan Qin raised her pale face and looked at Yi Tianyun. She was so helpless, so desperate, it touched his heart. This cage can be broken with external force, right? Yi Tianyun asked. Yes, but it's not so easy to break from the outside. The external force is stronger. Are you? Yes, I will help you break the cage. Yi Tianyun's eyes flashed. He twisted his wrist and smiled. I didn't want to do it. It's too much energy. I can't waste it. What? Huan Qin was confused. She didn't know what Yi Tianyun meant. Don't worry, just watch. Dragon God technique? Yi Tianyun let out a low roar, followed by the roar of a dragon. Thick dragon scales appeared on the surface of his body, and his strength increased exponentially. This time, the effect of the surrounding flame power on him was even weaker. Huan Qin was stunned. She didn't expect that Yi Tianyun could transform. It was unknown just how much divine beast blood essence it had absorbed in order to manifest this power. Absorbing Star's great technique. Yi Tianyun grabbed the cage and started to absorb it madly. This fire dragon stone was essentially an energy stone. Naturally, it could absorb energy. As a steady stream of energy entered his body, his experience bar shot up. 4,000 EXP, 16,000 EXP, 17,000 EXP, 15,000 EXP. Under the crazy EXP mode, the EXP suddenly exploded, and there was no pressure to absorb it. Originally, the Absorbing Star's great technique and the Dark North divine art were both divine arts that could absorb energy. Naturally, there was no pressure on these fire dragon stones. As he madly absorbed the energy, the two cages made of fire dragon stones in his hands began to dim. After absorbing the energy, it will naturally become dry. But it didn't last long. The surrounding fire dragon stones flickered, and energy continuously poured in to replenish the energy of these fire dragon stones. But no matter how much energy came, Yi Tianyun absorbed it all. You want to absorb all the energy in these fire dragon stones? Huan Qin was shocked. Yes, you guessed right. Yi Tianyun smiled lightly. This is the result he wanted. He came here for experience, he killed so many demon beasts, but he still couldn't reach the level he wanted. But this fire dragon stone is different. There are so many fire dragon stones. How much can he improve his cultivation? Can you absorb it all? Your body will explode. Huan Qin was worried. Cultivators have a limit to their absorption. She has never seen such an endless absorption. Don't worry, you just watch from the side. Leave everything to me. Yi Tianyun smiled and continued to absorb. Huan Qin looked at Yi Tianyun's confident expression. She didn't say anything. Let's see the situation first. Maybe it will really work. Activate 10 times EXP card. Activate 5 times EXP card. Coupled with the 4 times crazy mode, that's 19 times EXP. He didn't want to use the 20 times EXP card. The price in the shop is as high as 300,000 crazy point, so he didn't want to use it for the time being. After buying 2 EXP cards, Yi Tianyun's EXP suddenly exploded. On the basis of 4,000 EXP, it suddenly exploded by 19 times. More than 76,000 EXP. 76,000 EXP gained, 78,000 EXP gained, 75,000 EXP gained. Because of the different absorption, the fluctuation is relatively large, but it's still above 75,000. The EXP is definitely increasing by leaps and bounds. The absorption speed didn't speed up, but the increase in EXP is enough. Cool, it's really cool. I can also increase the proficiency of both. If I can upgrade it to high-grade Earth-level martial arts, the effect will be even more different. Yi Tianyun wants to upgrade his martial arts, but 300,000 EXP is not that easy to increase. So far, he only has 100,000 EXP. There is still a long way to go, unless he uses all his crazy point to buy Earth-level martial arts. But it's obviously not cost-effective. But this is good. Compared to killing monsters outside, the EXP is not much less. Maintaining this state and absorbing for almost an hour, a pleasant sound came. Ding! Congratulations to player Yi Tianyun. Successfully broke through to 4th level Spirit Core. Very good, continue to absorb. Yi Tianyun continued to absorb. The fire dragon stone gradually dimmed. This speed is still quite fast. If this continues, there should be no problem for him to level up. Huan Qin looked at Yi Tianyun absorbing for a long time. Her eyes widened. It's already hot enough here, but he can still absorb for such a long time. It's enough to see that Yi Tianyun's level is not low. But in her heart, she was touched. She didn't promise any reward, but this strange man in front of her is willing to risk his life for her. It's impossible not to be touched. Chapter 140. Yi Tianyun continued to absorb crazily. The EXP kept pouring into his body. He couldn't stop. Huan Qin's light blue eyes stared at Yi Tianyun. She wanted to see how he was doing. She was worried about Yi Tianyun, not that she couldn't get out, but if the person who helped her died, she would feel guilty. Are you sure you're okay? You can take a break. Huan Qin was worried. I'm really okay. You just stay here. I'll help you break this cage. Yi Tianyun smiled. No kidding, this is not a problem for him. He can't wait to keep absorbing EXP. But as time goes by, the cage seems to be getting more and more fragile. If he continues like this, he will be completely sucked dry in a while. 75,000 EXP, 16,000 EXP, 17,000 EXP. His EXP suddenly dropped, which means that the 10x EXP card and 5x EXP card are gone. This time he didn't continue to buy them. It's not cost-effective to buy them again. So far, the 10x EXP card has reached 200k crazy point. The 5x EXP card also reached 100k crazy point. It's undoubtedly not cost-effective. It seems that I can only maintain crazy mode. Yi Tianyun shook his head. Even if he maintained crazy mode, the consumption is still a lot. Every minute consumes 100 crazy point. Of course, it's a little bit for him now, but if he maintained it for a day, it will consume a lot of crazy point. But compared to the experience gained, it's a good deal. Without the superposition of the EXP card, the increase of EXP is undoubtedly a lot less, and leveling up is a lot more difficult. Now he can only do this. He doesn't want to eat the 20x EXP card. He can only absorb the EXP like this. The EXP is decreasing, but the speed of absorption is not slow. The cage is gradually on the verge of collapse, and he is like a bottomless pit. Continue to absorb the energy. Quick, it's almost broken. Huan Qin was excited. If this continues, she will definitely break it, and Yi Tianyun's situation is still so calm. Nothing happened. The corner of Yi Tianyun's mouth curled up. This was not difficult at all for him. It was simply too easy. I told you, it's not a problem for me at all. Boom. At this moment, a bolt of divine lightning quickly condensed in the sky and struck down fiercely at Yi Tianyun. Its speed was extremely fast and it enveloped him in an instant. In the next moment, he was sent flying and crashed into the wall. He let out a muffled groan, and a trail of blood flowed from the corner of his mouth. He was slightly injured. Is this lightning? Yi Tianyun felt as though he was about to be cleaved in half. If it weren't for his astonishing physique and his terrifying armor, he would have been cleaved to death. Now, his whole body was numb. It was too terrifying. He felt that even a spirit core stage cultivator would be easily killed. Sure enough, this cage wasn't as easy to destroy as he had imagined. He still had a backup plan. This is the heavenly lightning array. He engraved his own heavenly lightning array. Huan Qin said in horror, "Don't come any closer, quickly go." He used the lightning of this Devil Cloud Island as the last line of defense. As long as you continue to approach here, you will be killed. Tianyun stood up, wiped the blood off his lips, and sneered, "Do you think I will give up so easily? It's just a bolt of lightning. I don't believe I can't break it." He wasn't someone who would give up so easily. He immediately burst forth with the power of his dragon god bloodline and charged forward. Boom! A terrifying lightning fell down, but Yi Tianyun raised his hand and used Absorbing Star's great technique. As long as it is energy, he can absorb it. 16,000 EXP, 15,000 EXP. Tianyun was sent flying again. His body was scorched black. His absorption speed is still too slow. The power of the lightning is too strong. No matter how many lightning bolts condensed over the Devil Cloud Island, he couldn't absorb it. Unless his cultivation technique is further improved, his absorption speed is far less than the energy of the attack. Go, don't try anymore. This heavenly lightning array is gradually activated. If you continue like this, you will definitely die. Huan Qin begged, I know what you want, please go. I beg you, please go. Her eyes were red, she was eager to go out, but she didn't want Lee Tian-yun to die in front of her. Although they haven't known each other for long, she felt that Lee Tian-yun is sincere in saving her, so she won't let Lee Tian-yun die so easily. Don't worry, do you think this is all I have? Lee Tian-yun's eyes flashed. This is indeed very tricky. Looking at the lightning gradually gathering on the ground, if this continues, the lightning will become even more terrifying. At that time, even with his current cultivation, he won't be able to withstand it, which is enough to show how terrifying this array is. The next moment, he took out his shadow cloak, 5 seconds of invincibility. Immediately, he rushed towards Huan Qin again. At the same time, he saw Huan Qin's sad eyes. She shook her head at him, signaling him not to continue to be brave. This made his heart even more determined. If it was a selfish person, they would save him no matter what. But Huan Qin is different. She really doesn't want him to die for her. Kaboom! Heavenly lightning struck again, but this time he activated his shadow cloak. Boom! When the lightning hit his body, it suddenly disappeared. It had no effect. He was completely immune to it. Soon, he came in front of the cage and grabbed it with both hands. Roar! A dragon roar came out of his mouth. He grabbed the stone pillar tightly and threw it forward. Only to hear a kachich sound coming from the stone pillar. A slight crack appeared on it, but the effect was very limited. But he didn't give up. He quickly stood up, grabbed the 2 stone pillars with both hands, and tried to pull them apart. Violent power burst out from his hands, the blue veins on his arms bulged, the dragon scales on his arms were bulging. It looked very scary. Under this crazy power, the stone pillar continued to make a crack sound. Pieces of the stone pillar fell from it. Crazy damage mode, activate. Lee Tian-yun roared. He wanted to forcibly tear the already fragile cage, but at this time, an unknown evil fire came from the stone pillar and drilled into his body through his arms. But soon, his shadow cloak was immune to it. He is completely invincible. This is the evil fire that was placed in here. Lee Tian-yun immediately knew what this evil fire was. Obviously, the person who placed this cage still has some tricks up his sleeves. As long as he continues to forcibly destroy the cage, then the evil fire will come and drill into his body. This evil fire is very powerful. It is constantly destroying the inside of the cage. Chapter 141. Lee Tian-yun felt the evil fire. Fortunately, he had the shadow cloak, otherwise, he would have been burned by it. But the fire continued to surge. It seems that it won't stop for a while. Let go! Huan Qin screamed when she saw the evil fire. This is the evil fire of the fire dragon stone buried inside. It will melt you. Lee Tian-yun gritted his teeth, but the determination in his eyes didn't diminish. He didn't have much time left, but he didn't say a word. 5 seconds is quite short. If it weren't for their high cultivation, every second would be a long time. Open! Lee Tian-yun roared. His arms continued to struggle to break the stone pillar. A little crack appeared on it, but at the same time, more and more evil fire drilled into the pillar. The shadow cloak was immune to it. But time is always limited. He tried to break the pillar a few times, but he still couldn't break it. 5 seconds had already passed. When the effect of the shadow cloak disappeared, the evil fire immediately rushed up, drilled into his body, and began to madly burn his body. A burning sensation came from inside his body, making him feel a little pain, but it was bearable. With his strong physique, it's not a problem for him to withstand the fire, but if this continues, he will be seriously injured. If this continues, even if you have a strong physique, you will still die. Huan Qin looked at Lee Tian-yun and couldn't help but shout. She didn't want to see Lee Tian-yun die, not because she wanted to get out, but because she was really worried that Lee Tian-yun would die. I won't die before I save you, believe me. Lee Tian-yun looked at her, revealing a faint smile. His tone was firm. You. Huan Qin's eyes were filled with tears. She clenched her teeth. She really wanted to help, but with the activation of the heavenly thunder formation, she was imprisoned inside, unable to move. Otherwise, she would have helped him a long time ago, instead of sitting in the cage and watching Lee Tian-yun cry. In the next moment, Lee Tian-yun's eyes shone with a divine light. The power in his body exploded to its peak. Open! With a furious roar, Yi Tianyun's strength abruptly increased by several times. His arms also grew a little larger, and he used all his strength to pry open the door. Boom! Accompanied by the sound of collapse, the two stone pillars were completely smashed. The stone pillar finally collapsed under Yi Tianyun's efforts. Suddenly, a big gap appeared in the cage, and Huan Qin could easily walk out of it. However, with the collapse of the stone pillars, the formation lost its effectiveness. Without the foundation to maintain the formation disappeared. At this moment, his body loosened, and he felt an incomparable pain in his body. His body could not help but fall backward. When the evil fire invaded his body, the damage it caused to him was extremely serious. Even he did not expect it to cause so much damage. The evil fire, which was already extremely violent, became even more savage. It crazily burrowed into his limbs, incessantly burning his body. He could smell a burning smell. His internal organs had been roasted. When he was about to fall to the ground, he fell into a soft embrace. He struggled to open his eyes, and what he saw was Huan Qin's red eyes. She kept opening her mouth to say something, but he could not hear it. He just felt that his consciousness gradually became blurred. No matter how hard he tried, he could not continue to open his eyes. This time, the evil fire caused a lot of damage to him. He felt that with his peak of spirit core stage cultivation, he would be seriously injured under such an attack. But he was not worried. He could only continue to resist the evil fire in his body, trying to suppress it. The injury was serious, but it was not particularly fatal. His amazing physique was not a decoration. But not long after, he only felt a chill quickly coming from the surface of his body, quickly extinguishing the evil fire in his body, making him feel a little better. He didn't know how much time had passed, but he felt that the pain in his body had basically disappeared, followed by a cool feeling. He had never felt so comfortable before. He slowly opened his eyes. Then what came into view was Huan Qin, who was crying red and swollen, hugging him tightly, not willing to let go. Yi Tianyun noticed that the divine rune on Huan Qin's forehead was missing. The missing rune was engraved on his chest, exuding a cool power. He knew that this was the power of Huan Qin. She transferred the divine rune on her forehead to his body. He didn't know what side effects this would bring, but he knew that it was not a small price to pay. Transferring the divine rune on the body will not only reduce his lifespan, but also his cultivation. In fact, there was no pressure to cultivate these 2 points. The most important thing was that the talent was transferred to him. It can be said that each of them had half of the talent. At least Huan Qin's talent was greatly reduced, but she could still use it. The biggest reason for Huan Qin to do this was to use her talent to heal him in the best way and save him. After all, she has the ice attribute, so she can quickly dispel the evil fire. When Yi Tianyun knew about this, he was very touched. He didn't expect Huan Qin to do this for him. It seems that he was not wrong about her. Dane successfully obtained the heavenly eye talent. At this time, the system sounded, proving that he got the talent. You transferred the divine rune to me, isn't this nonsense? Yi Tianyun shook his head and sat up. His internal injuries have already recovered. He thought that it would take a long time to recover, but under the treatment of Huan Qin, he quickly recovered. I never owe anyone anything as long as you are fine. Huan Qin wiped her tears with the back of her hand and smiled. She didn't care about her loss at all. In fact, I can recover. You must have a great impact on yourself by doing this, right? Yi Tianyun asked. This is nothing, I already said. Whether it is others or my own people, I don't want to owe anything. Huan Qin smiled and said, since you are willing to save me, then I will give you this gift. But this gift is really a bit expensive. Yi Tianyun smiled. The previous sad atmosphere disappeared. But there are really a lot of big formations here, one after another. I didn't expect to be trapped in the end. Yes, I didn't expect that Lei Yun has 2 big formations. Even if the seal outside is destroyed, it can't easily destroy this cage. Huan Qin's face was gloomy. It seems that he is really cruel to me, very worried that I will escape. That's for sure. Let's get out of here now. We can't stay here for long. Yi Tianyun stood up, He was worried that Lei Yun will send people to chase after him, so it's better to leave as soon as possible. Huan Qin nodded and quickly evacuated with Yi Tianyun. But when they were about to leave, Tianyun stopped. Wait a minute. Then Yi Tianyun, under Huan Qin's puzzled look, he took off the night-luminescent pearl inlaid on the wall and tossed it in his hand. This thing is priceless. It's a pity to leave it here. I just need money to buy pills. Chapter 142. After they left, they quickly hid on the side. Let's get out of here as soon as possible. Otherwise, if Lei Yun notices something, it will be very troublesome. Yi Tianyun said. Huan Qin nodded and looked around. There is no boat here. It seems like we have to do it ourselves. Don't worry about that. There should be a giant eagle waiting for us. He brought Huan Qin to the shore and saw a feather carriage parked there. It was Qin Liuyun's feather carriage. It was now parked on the shore. Since they were already dead, Yu Shiqian wouldn't take the carriage away, so she left it here. I didn't expect there to be a carriage here. Can we drive it away? Huan Qin was surprised. Yes, one of them didn't like me, so I killed him. Yi Tianyun said with a smile. I don't know who it was. Provoking you is simply courting death. Huan Qin roughly knew how strong Yi Tianyun was. He was a spirit core cultivator. Reaching this level at such a young age was enough to show how talented he was. Then let's leave this damn place together. I can't stay here any longer. Yes, but it's time to say goodbye. I don't think we are going in the same direction. I want to go back to the nearby Tianxin city. Tianyun said. But you don't have a carriage, you have to take a boat. The next moment, a black dragon was summoned by him, giving her a huge fright. Do you think I still need a carriage? Yi Tianyun laughed. I am very curious, what is your background? How can you have a divine beast as a mount? She was indeed an experienced and knowledgeable saintess. Huan Qin was only a little surprised, but she quickly recovered. This was not surprising for her. She had been in contact with a 4th-grade force, and even her spirit clan had a divine beast. No, I am just an elder of a small force. I am just lucky. Yi Tianyun didn't hide anything. This black dragon is not something to hide, but as a trump card, people will definitely know about it in the future. Moreover, they weren't enemies, so there wouldn't be any problems. A small force? Huan Qin smiled and said, It seems that your luck is too good. You must have obtained some kind of inheritance. You can say that. Yi Tianyun thought about it. There was nothing wrong with that. The system could be considered a legacy. You saved me, I haven't paid you yet? When Huan Qin was about to continue, Yi Tianyun shook his head and interrupted her. That's enough. You've already transferred the divine imprint to me. This is already the greatest reward you can offer me. Everything else can't be compared to this. Tianyun placed his hand on his chest as he smiled. No, more importantly, I need you to help me keep it. Huan Qin smiled indifferently and stretched out her finger. There was a faint golden light on it. Then she pointed at Yi Tianyun's chest. This is my gift to you. Make good use of it, but don't show it easily. Otherwise, you will be killed. Yi Tianyun had already checked what the memory was. After knowing what it was, his heart was immediately shocked. What Huan Qin gave him was not a martial art, but a divine imprint engraving method. It can be said that it included many high-level divine imprints, some of which were secret techniques of the spirit clan. Although he was proficient in divine imprint, it didn't mean that he knew all kinds of divine imprints. Only by obtaining more divine imprints, he could engrave more. Divine imprint mastery was just a foundation. The higher the level, the more complex divine imprints he could engrave. Not only divine imprint mastery, but also other weapons. Spirit tools and the like are actually very similar. Weapons of the same level, but some forging recipes are different. The effect is completely different. What he lacks now is the recipe, but it can still be used. The point is that Huan Qin taught him this. If the people of the spirit clan knew about this, Huan Qin will definitely be expelled. The secret technique of the spirit clan was taught to an outsider. How could she not be expelled from the spirit clan? Why did you teach me all this? Yi Tianyun's eyes were full of complex emotions. He was touched. He did save Huan Qin, but not only did she teach him the divine imprint, But she also taught him the secret technique of the spirit clan. Didn't I just say that you will keep it for me? This is for myself, and also for the sake of the spirit clan. Huan Qin smiled and said, when I go back, I don't know whether I will live or die. If I can't resist the power of Lei Yun, then the spirit clan may be controlled by the Netherworld Empire. In that case, I might as well give you this secret technique. If the spirit clan is destroyed, at least we can keep this secret technique. Yi Tianyun's heart was shaken. Although she said that, she didn't have to give it to him. She could just give it to a spirit clan member and then hide it. Why would she give it to an outsider? This should be what Lei Yun wants. Why do you trust me so much? Yi Tianyun's eyes were full of complex emotions. In truth, only the next holy maiden could obtain this secret art. It was impossible for any other elder to obtain it. But now it was passed on to him, an outsider. If Lei Yun knew about this, he would definitely go crazy. I don't know why. Maybe it's your determination to save me that made me trust you completely? Huan Qin smiled, her silver eyes were full of complex light. Maybe you are the first person to treat me like this. Yi Tianyun seemed to know her story from her eyes. He wanted to say something to comfort her, but he didn't know what to say. Actually, I am going to help you. Yi Tianyun couldn't help but blurt out. He could only say that. He knew that Huan Qin will face a great crisis when she goes back. She will have to face the traitors in the clan. I appreciate your kindness, but I can see that you still have important things to do. Especially when you were unconscious, you kept calling me aunt. And to be honest, your cultivation level is a bit low. Huan Qin suddenly smiled, reached out her hand and gently touched his forehead. Stay here. If you really want to help me, then make good use of the memory I gave you and cultivate to a stronger realm. If you can find me, then you can help me. My cultivation level is low? Yi Tianyun was a little surprised. Yes, Spirit Core stage is not bad, but I need to face Core Transformation stage cultivators, or even Void Spirit stage cultivators. Spirit Core stage cultivators are not worth mentioning. My cultivation level was at the late stage of Core Transformation stage, but now that I am sealed, my cultivation level has dropped to Core Condensation stage. How much help do you think you can make? Huan Qin smiled and said, but you are very young, give me more time, and you will become stronger. Sooner or later, you will be stronger than many people and stand at the peak. Chapter 143. Standing at the peak, huh? That's a good idea. It's quite in line with my current thinking. Yi Tianyun smiled. If he wanted to protect his family, the best way was to become stronger than everyone else. Bah, I said you're fat and you're still talking to me. Huan Qin smiled and said, by the way, I still don't know your name? Yi Tianyun. He didn't hide his name, he took off his mask and revealed his real face. This is my real face, everything before was just an illusion. When Huan Qin saw Yi Tianyun's real face, she was shocked. You're so young? In front of her was the face of a 17 or 18-year-old man, which was too young. When Yi Tianyun changed his face, he was at least 24 or 25 years old. Reaching Spirit Core stage at this age was already very scary, but now that he revealed his face, it was even more shocking. Immediately, she grabbed Yi Tianyun's face and started rubbing it. She wanted to see if she could pull off a layer of skin, but no matter how hard she tried, she couldn't pull off a layer of skin. Have you touched enough? Tianyun said helplessly. It's really this face? Huan Qin was shocked. It's incredible that you reached Spirit Core stage at such a young age. Are you a genius from the Divine Nation? I told you, I'm just an elder of a small force, not a genius from a big force. Tianyun said helplessly. To be able to cultivate to such a high level, you must be a genius. Huan Qin shook her head. If this didn't happen in the Spirit Clan, I would have kidnapped you and made you a member of the Spirit Clan. You're exaggerating. Yi Tianyun suddenly laughed. This Huan Qin was really overbearing. It's not an exaggeration. To have such a cultivation base at such a young age, his future must be amazing. Huan Qin smiled. I'm looking forward to your performance in the future. I hope we'll meet again someday. That's right, Huan Qin is my name in the Spirit Clan. My real name is Yi Qingxian. Then she got on the carriage and flew into the sky. You must survive. When the time comes, I will find you. Tianyun shouted. If you can find me and I'm still alive, I'll marry you. Yi Qingxian smiled and turned to look at him. Finally, she shouted, but before that, you also have to survive. You must keep a low profile, or you will be killed. Then, her carriage of feathers disappeared from sight just like that. Complete Save Spirit Race Saintess Quest. Complete Reward, 200. 000 EXP 10. 000 Crazy Point, 100 Huan Qin Favorability. At this time, the quest notification popped up. If he wanted to trigger the quest, he would have to leave with her. But he has something important to do now, so he can't leave with her. Qingxian Mansion is his main goal now. Then he checked the current situation, and all the information popped up. Level 34, 4th level Spirit Core, EXP 818538 Crazy Point Prestige, 430 Crazy Points in Point, 231 Crazy Points Cultivation Technique, Dark North Divine Art, Dragon God Secret Art, Xian Tian Divine Art Martial Arts, Absorbing Stars Great Technique, Blood Fiend Soaring Sky, Transforming Heaven Palm X2, Netherworld Step X2 Weapon, Frost Fist, Blood Fiend Divine Spear, Endless Sword, Chaotic Heaven Sacred Axe, Flowing Cloud Long Sword Armor, Divine Armor, Shadow Cloak, Chaotic Heaven Divine Armor, Chaotic Heaven Battle Boots Divine Ability, Crazy Mode, Luck Aura Bloodline, Dragon God Bloodline Talent, Heavenly Eye Decoration, Forging God Hammer, Power Bracelet, Power Ring, Power Belt, Blood Fiend Bracelet. All items. 10 Recovery Medicinal Pill, Gift Pack LV41, Life X1, Bad Luck Divine Pill, Blast Divine Pill, 20 times EXP card, 3 times Crazy Point card, 4 times Proficiency card, Walrus Skin X8, Octopus Tentacle X6, Sea Cow Horn X8, Night Pearl X6, etc. Treasure, Purple Fire Divine Furnace Title, Guardian, Savior Flame, Immortal Fire, more than 800,000. 000 Crazy Point, I still need 200,000. 000 to upgrade Crazy Mode. Tianyun's eyes lit up. He killed a lot of demon beasts in Crazy Mode and got a lot of Crazy Point. Now he can use it to upgrade Dragon God Bloodline or Appraisal Eye. He only needs 500,000 Crazy Point to upgrade them. But he doesn't want to upgrade these two. Crazy Mode is the most important. According to this calculation, the next level will be 8 times EXP card. This means that he can get 8 times EXP card every time, which is almost equivalent to 10 times EXP card. How can he not be happy? Let's clean them up and sell them all. Tianyun sold Netherworld Step and other things. It doesn't make much sense for him to keep them. He doesn't want these things, so he will clean them up and exchange them for Crazy Point. His current goal is simple, he just needs to accumulate 200,000 Crazy Points. Immediately after he cleaned them up, a number appeared on the Crazy Point bar, 870,000 Crazy Point. After clearing everything, he still needed 130,000 Crazy Points to level up. The price of Night Pearl is not bad, this thing can sell for 5,000 Crazy Point. Tianyun smiled and immediately left on the Black Dragon. He planned to return to Heavenly New City to submit the quest. In the cage, there is still a little fire dragon stone that can be absorbed, but he doesn't plan to stay there to absorb it. If Lei Yun sends someone to come here and meet him, he will be in trouble. He doesn't want to suffer that much trouble now. Not long after he left, a sharp light flew from a distance and landed on the top of the mountain. Boom! A huge pit was smashed on the top of the mountain, and a strong man walked out of the pit, carrying a giant sword in his hand, his eyes cold. He was 2.5 meters tall, and when he walked, he was like a mountain, leaving a footprint with each step. Soon he came to the place where the spirit race language was before, whispered a few words, and disappeared from the area. Not long after, he appeared again, his face gloomy. How is this possible? The double formation arranged by Lord Lei Yun was broken? Could it be that the elder of the spirit race came in person? It seems that I have to go back quickly and report to Lord Lei Yun. Immediately, he threw the long sword in his hand. A huge sword light rose into the sky, 12 meters high, and then fiercely chopped down. With a bang, the whole mountain was blown up and the terrifying power swept the surrounding area. What was left was a deep pit, nothing else was left. Immediately, he jumped up and stepped on the long sword. A dense divine rune flickered on the giant sword and immediately turned into a light and disappeared into the sky. This speed is too fast. Chapter 144. Tianyun rode on the Black Dragon and soon returned to Sky New City. Then he went straight to Star Pavilion. Before that, he must have put on the 100 transformation mask again to hide his face so that no one would know his true appearance. When he returned to Star Pavilion, as soon as he entered, he signaled the receptionist to take him to Deacon Huang. When Deacon Huang saw him, he was surprised. Then he smiled and said, "What's wrong? Is there anything else you need to prepare?" He thought that Tianyun hadn't set off yet. It had only been a few days, less than a week. "No, I'm almost done. I've hunted a lot of monsters. I'll sell them to you now." Tianyun smiled and said, "Correspondingly, I only need the materials. As for the price, it's up to you." "What? You've hunted them? So fast?" Deacon Huang was stunned. It would take more than half a month to go back and forth by boat. Unless he rode on a giant eagle, it would be impossible to return so fast. "Yes, you can count them." Tianyun took off the storage ring and put it on the table. He smiled and said, "It's all in here. You can check it." Deacon Huang took it with a suspicious face. Not to mention the time, he looked up and down at Tianyun. It didn't seem to be a big problem. Presumably, he had only killed a few monsters, so it didn't mean much to them. But when he checked the corpse in the storage ring, he was shocked. He was shocked by the situation inside. In the storage ring, the corpses of the monsters were piled up like a mountain. The number was much more than he had imagined. He thought that Tianyun had hunted a dozen monsters at most, but now there were hundreds of them. It was incredible. This number. Deacon Huang's eyes were full of shock. He looked up at Tianyun and his eyes changed a lot. "You hunted them alone? You can say that we hunted them together. I hunted them together with my friend. Is there a problem?" Tianyun did not tell the truth. The impact of him killing so many demonic beasts alone was still very big. Hunted with a friend? That's not too bad. Deacon Huang heaved a sigh of relief. If a person could hunt so many demon beasts by himself, then it would be a miracle. This was way too powerful. How strong must one's cultivation be in order to hunt so many demon beasts? "Can you start calculating now?" Tianyun asked. Sure. Deacon Huang nodded. He couldn't help but look at Tianyun a few more times. This was beyond his imagination. Soon, he finished counting and gave a rough evaluation. "I've roughly calculated it. What do you need in terms of materials?" "I don't have any special requirements, as long as it can be used to forge a soul tool," Tianyun said after thinking for a while. "What, forge a soul tool?" Deacon Huang was shocked. In Heavenly New City, the number of blacksmiths who could forge soul tools could be counted on one's fingers. The young man in front of him wanted these materials. Without a doubt, he wanted to forge a soul tool. He would either forge it himself or ask someone to forge it. One thing was for sure, there was a strong person who knew how to forge soul tools. "That's right. What's the problem?" Tianyun asked. "There's no problem. As far as I know, the number of blacksmiths who can forge soul tools is very small. I might be rude to ask, is it this brother here or your friend who can forge it?" Deacon Huang asked. "Is this very important?" Tianyun did not answer. "If possible, we also hope that a master who can forge soul tools can forge soul tools for us. Everything can be discussed." Deacon Huang rubbed his hands together in embarrassment. Tianyun's eyes flashed. Although forging was good for him, it was still too slow. Unless there is no other way, he would choose the path of forging. "My friend is not very convenient for the time being, so we can talk later." Tianyun refused. Deacon Huang was not embarrassed, he just nodded and said, "If you can, please be sure to come and help, we will definitely give you a generous reward. Blacksmiths are extremely popular everywhere. Everyone has a few weapons, so blacksmiths are very popular. Roughly, the demon beasts you killed can be exchanged for 15 normal soul tool materials. I don't know if you are satisfied? Deacon Huang roughly reported the price. No problem. Yi Tianyun didn't have any concept of the price. Anyway, it was easy to get, so he didn't care much about it. Ding, successfully completed the demon beasts hunting task. Reward, 500. 000 EXP 10. 000 gold 10. 000 crazy point, 10 lottery tickets. Star Pavilion favorability increased by 100. The task was completed easily, and he also got a lot of crazy point and 10 lottery tickets. Then please wait a moment. Deacon Huang turned his head and shouted, "Little Zhu, come here for me." "What's wrong, Deacon Huang?" Then a figure came out of the house. Yi Tianyun looked up and was stunned. "Pavilion Lord Z?" Yi Tianyun shouted. "Pavilion Lord Z? I am not the Pavilion Lord. I am not qualified to be the Pavilion Lord." The woman shook her head and laughed at herself. Yi Tianyun looked carefully at the woman and found that she is not Ziyue, but she is very similar to Ziyue. He can't say that she is completely similar, but at least 90% similar. If he didn't look carefully, he wouldn't be able to see the difference, which makes him wonder if they are twins. Moreover, the appraisal eye has already presented the other party's information in front of him. Zhu Yuxuan, Cultivation Level 9 Spirit Refinement Realm, wears high-grade Spirit Tool Purple Jade Soft Armor, Martial Art turned Cloud Palm, Cloud Treading Steps, etc. Combat Power, 16,000 Weakness. He doesn't care about the rest, it doesn't make much sense to him. "Do you have an elder sister or younger sister?" Yi Tianyun asked. "My friend, please tell me in detail." At this time, Deacon Huang came out with a very serious expression. "You said you have seen a woman who looks like her?" "Yes, I have seen her and she looks like her," Yi Tianyun said without thinking much. Very good, very good." Deacon Huang laughed. "Then tell me, where is she? I will definitely give you more rewards." Deacon Huang's eyes flashed with surprise. There is a kind of ecstasy in his eyes. When Yi Tianyun just wanted to say something, Zhu Yuxuan rushed over. "You have seen my sister?" Zhu Yuxuan looked happy, hurriedly grabbed him and said, "Where is she?" She is very excited, regardless of the fact that men and women should not touch. She directly grabbed Yi Tianyun's shoulder. This scene made Deacon Huang dumbfounded. But she quickly reacted and said embarrassedly, "I am too excited. If she looks like me, then she is my sister. I haven't seen her for a long time, since she ran away from home. There has been no news of her. I don't know where she went." "Ran away from home?" Yi Tianyun was puzzled. "Yes, she has been away from home for several years. I wonder if you can tell me where my sister is?" Zhu Yuxuan said excitedly. Yi Tianyun squinted his eyes, immediately looked at Deacon Huang and said, "Can't you find any news of her sister?" Deacon Huang laughed dryly. "The sea of people is vast. There are also places that our Star Pavilion can't find, basically beyond the heavenly boundary continent. We don't go to explore. It is too much of a waste of manpower and material resources." Yi Tianyun can see that Deacon Huang is not lying. The Star Pavilion is indeed very big. It is spread all over the heavenly boundary continent, but it is not particularly familiar with the situation outside, especially the earthly boundary continent. It is even more reluctant to spend a lot of effort to explore. Chapter 145. What's your sister's name? Yi Tianyun asked. Zhu Yue. Zhu Yuxuan quickly replied. Sure enough. Yi Tianyun immediately confirmed his guess. In order to avoid detection, she had to conceal her identity, but she didn't hide her real name, she just changed her surname. But even so, they couldn't easily detect her. The sea of people is vast, it's not that easy to detect. Unexpectedly, Zhu Yue ran away from home, relying on her own hands to make a name for herself outside. Obviously, she has outstanding performance in management. But her position is not very high. Although she can manage the treasure pavilion, due to her lack of background, she can only be regarded as a puppet. Zhu family is relatively famous in Heavenly Boundary Continent. It belongs to the management branch of Star Pavilion, otherwise Zhu Yuxuan would not appear here. May I know the reason why your sister ran away from home? Lee Tianyun asked. This is our family's matter. As long as you tell us and let me find my sister, we will immediately reward you with both hands. You will definitely be satisfied. Zhu Yuxuan closed her mouth. She didn't want to reveal the situation. After all, this is a family scandal. She can't explain it in detail. In that case, I also have no comment. I am your sister's friend. She chose to run away from home. There must be something she is unwilling to face, so I will not say it. Lee Tianyun said. Ziyue, also known as Zhu Yue. Her relationship with Lee Tianyun is not bad. She really wants to help him, but in her heart, Lee Tianyun regards her as his friend. Young master, it seems that you are not willing to say anything? Zhu Yuxuan's face turned cold. It changed on a whim. Some things we are not willing to say, that is our family's matter. You don't need to know too much. As long as you say it, it will only benefit my sister. There is no harm. I don't think so. Since I am your sister's friend, there are some things I have to listen to. Only then will I know whether it is worth saying. Lee Tianyun did not choose to back down. Friend, it seems like you don't know where you are. Deacon Huang stood up and said with a serious expression, this is a big deal for the entire Star Pavilion, so you have to tell us. Otherwise, we'll have to invite you somewhere so that you can think about it. He snapped his fingers and a group of cultivators rushed up, including 3 core condensation deacons. They quickly ran down the stairs and came in front of Lee Tianyun. Deacon Huang, what's wrong? The middle-aged man asked. He knows about Yue Wei, but he refuses to say anything, Deacon Huang said in a low voice. You know about Yue Wei? The man looked at Lee Tianyun in surprise, and then said with a serious expression, Friend, as long as you tell us where Yue Wei is, we will give you a corresponding reward. We will definitely not treat you unfairly. I said, I have my own judgment. Zhu Yue is my friend, I respect her choice, but if you want to force me to say it, I can only say that it is impossible. Lee Tianyun frowned. Their attitude made him very uncomfortable. If that's the case, then this friend, if you don't say it, don't even think about leaving. Deacon Huang raised his hand and said, Arrest him? They just formed a good cooperative relationship, but in the blink of an eye, it was broken. This reversal is too sudden. One of them immediately rushed towards Lee Tianyun. His palm turned into an eagle claw and grabbed Lee Tianyun. The power released from the body of a core condensation expert is like a giant eagle swooping down on Lee Tianyun, trying to capture him like a prey. But they didn't mean to hurt him, they just wanted to catch him. Lee Tianyun's eyes flashed. With a faster speed, he grabbed the opponent's arm and immediately slammed him on the ground. Bang! Lee Tianyun was a little dizzy from the fall, but it's not fatal, just a little dizzy. Since the other side didn't attack too hard, then he won't attack too hard. I advise you not to mess around. I can't guarantee that next time I will be more ruthless. Lee Tianyun looked at them indifferently and said. This time they were stunned, although their companion's cultivation was not high, but he was still at 5th or 6th level of core condensation, but he was instantly killed. This can only prove one thing, that is, Lee Tianyun's cultivation is higher. Lee Tianyun directly suppressed one of the deacons. If he was more ruthless, then he would be dead. In a situation where he had attacked so quickly, he had stunned them. Only those with great strength had the right to speak. They all looked at each other and saw a little shock in each other's eyes. Whether it is speed or strength, it is very amazing, far more than the deacon just now. This means that the cultivation of the young man in front of them has reached a much higher level than them. Because Lee Tianyun is wearing the 100 transformation mask, so they can't see Lee Tianyun's real age. If they know that Lee Tianyun's real age is only about 17 years old, then they will be even more shocked. So, do you choose to fight, or do you want to negotiate? Lee Tianyun looked at their shocked expression. His expression is very indifferent. Their shock is expected. This time they have to think carefully. Such a strong cultivation, so young, presumably his background is not too simple. This is what they think. In fact, Lee Tianyun is just a member of a first-grade force, but they think that such a young man with such high cultivation, without a lot of resources, how can he be cultivated? After looking at each other, they can only choose to compromise. My friend, we're not trying to make things difficult for you. It's just that Zhu Yue is very important to us. She has caused a lot of trouble for the Star Pavilion after she left home for so many years. Deacon Huang sighed. If I am not wrong, you must have forced her to do something, that is why she chose to run away from home. I know her character, she is a very responsible person, she will never do anything wrong, Yi Tianyun said in a low voice. Zhu Yuxuan was silent for a while, then took a step forward, not afraid of Yi Tianyun at all. Mister, since you want to know, then I will tell you the truth. My sister ran away from the wedding, it is that simple. This matter is not very clear to the outside world, so in order to protect the Star Pavilion's reputation, we did not say it. Ran away from the wedding? Yi Tianyun was startled. This situation is a bit of a cliché, but it is a common thing, especially when it is reflected in the children of big families. They have no choice, their own happiness is controlled by the family. It is indeed a bit tragic. Chapter 146. That's right, she ran away from the marriage. This was a matter that had been decided long ago, so it was impossible for her to go back on her word. I didn't expect that my sister would secretly run away after she found out about it. She didn't even leave a single message behind. Zhu Yuxuan sighed and said, I admit that it was a bit forced on my sister, but the result was good for her. Marrying into a powerful family would be of great help to her in the future. Then who did she marry? Yi Tianyun asked. The son of the second elder of Qingxian Mansion. I believe that young master already knows about Qingxian Mansion. It's not a weak family here. If the two families could unite through marriage, it would be good for both the Star Pavilion and my sister. Zhu Yuxuan's beautiful eyes flickered as she said, Young master, what do you think? Qingxian Mansion? Yi Tianyun's complexion became a bit strange. He didn't expect that he would have a relationship with Qingxian Mansion. His complexion sank as he said, if she thought that it was good, she wouldn't have run away from home. I understand your difficulties, but it's a pity that this reason makes me even more reluctant to tell you. But I won't tell anyone about it. You can rest assured about this. Everyone's complexion changed. They thought that Yi Tianyun would tell them, but they didn't expect that he would refuse in the end. If there's nothing else, please give me the materials I need. I still have something to do. Yi Tianyun waved his hand and turned around to leave. At this time, Zhu Yuxuan quickly ran over and stood in front of Yi Tianyun. With her cultivation, it was impossible for her to stop Yi Tianyun. But she still stood up and opened her arms to stop him. Young master, I beg you to tell me where my sister is. If it wasn't for the fact that I already have a Dao companion, I would have already replaced my sister and married into Qingxian Mansion. If this continues, our Zhu family will be finished. Yi Tianyun was startled. This Zhu Yuxuan really had a bit of determination. If it wasn't so urgent, he believed that they wouldn't have made such a choice. How so? Yi Tianyun asked. Our Zhu family's status in the Star Pavilion is declining day by day. If this continues, we won't be able to stand firm in the Star Pavilion, Zhu Yuxuan said in a deep voice. So, you plan to rely on Zhu Yue and the Qingxian Mansion to make the Zhu family have a higher status in the Star Pavilion? Yi Tianyun had already understood the ins and outs of the matter. It was actually a marriage alliance, using Zhu Yue as a condition to get them to support the Zhu family. Yes, I'm sorry, but there's no other way. Zhu Yuxuan clenched her teeth. She was determined to sacrifice her sister to save the entire Zhu family. Yi Tianyun looked at them deeply. To be honest, relying on one person to save the entire Zhu family is very childish. Only by becoming stronger can we have the right to speak. He said he relied on others, but when he abandoned you, he didn't hesitate at all. He's telling the truth. What's the use of marriage? Jade Palace and Qingxian Mansion already had many marriages. What was the result? That's abandoning them. Without strength, they will be replaced. This time, unless Zhu Yue is strong enough to defy the heavens, or has the absolute right to speak, otherwise there's no point in marrying her. But if that's the case, Zhu family won't be in this situation. Zhu Yuxuan and the others were silent, when she wanted to continue to say something. Yi Tianyun added another sentence. Don't say anything more, bring me my reward. There's no point in forcing it, I won't say it. Little Zhu, go and bring the reward, our Star Pavilion isn't like this. Deacon Huang sighed and motioned Zhu Yuxuan to bring the reward. After Zhu Yuxuan took a deep look at Yi Tianyun, she turned around and went to get the reward. After a while, she came back with the reward and put it in the storage ring. After Yi Tianyun took a little check, there are indeed 15 sets of low-grade soul tool materials. When Yi Tianyun saw so many sets of materials, he nodded with satisfaction. It's a pleasure to cooperate with you. After that, he turned around and left. He didn't continue to stay here. Before leaving, his eyes flickered, and their favorability was shown in front of him. From the original 100 points of favorability, it instantly dropped to 20 points. It seems that even if the favorability is forcibly increased by the task, if something happens, it will drop in minutes. But when he saw a person, he suddenly froze. Among so many people in front of him, there is one person whose favorability did not drop, and that is Zhu Yuxuan. Favorability directly soared to 150 points. This made him feel strange. By the way, I almost forgot to tell you, even if you want to find a backer, don't look for Qingxian Mansion. Tianyun walked 2 steps and suddenly stopped. Zhu Yuxuan wondered, because Qingxian Mansion is about to be destroyed. After hearing Yi Tianyun's words, they were stunned on the spot. When he left, Deacon Huang and the others nodded and said in a deep voice, "He is quite arrogant. I wonder which big sect he is from? If the Profound Azure Mansion is finished, then it would need to be at least a 3rd or 4th grade force to be able to eradicate it. Then should we believe him or follow him to see where he went?" Another deacon asked. "As long as we find the direction, we can easily find him. The Earth boundary continent is quite large. Although the Star Pavilion is powerful, it does not mean that they can do everything. Otherwise, they will not be able to find him until now. In addition to the Earth boundary continent, there are other scattered continents in the Heavenly boundary continent, so they have no idea where Zhu Yue is. Forget it. He is stronger than you. Can you follow him? And he has a blacksmith who can forge soul armaments. He is definitely a disciple of a big force. Maybe he can really destroy Qingxian Mansion. I don't know how Qingxian Mansion provoked them." Deacon Huang shook his head. "Are we just going to let it go? Where is Zhu Yue? So what if Qingxian Mansion is destroyed? What are we going to do?" One of the deacons was very dissatisfied. "We need to find a backer, otherwise our family will be pushed out. I will go after him." Zhu Yuxuan gritted her teeth and quickly chased after him. Before they could say anything, Zhu Yuxuan had already run downstairs. They looked at each other, not knowing what to say. "Let her be." Deacon Huang frowned. No one knew what he was thinking. Zhu Yuxuan quickly chased after Yi Tianyun. She saw Yi Tianyun's figure from afar and quickly caught up with him. "Young master, wait." Yi Tianyun turned his head to look at her. "What?" He didn't think that Zhu Yuxuan would chase after him. "If you see my sister, give this to her." Zhu Yuxuan walked over and handed a jade pendant to Yi Tianyun. "This is?" Yi Tianyun looked at the jade pendant. It didn't look like much, but it was a fine piece of jade. It wasn't a treasure, but it wouldn't help with cultivation. "This is the jade pendant that I always carry with me. Give it to my sister and tell her to never come back." Zhu Yuxuan bit her lips and her eyes were red. "It's our fault. Since I'm already in this state, I can't let my sister suffer. To be honest, I was the one who asked my sister to escape." "What?" Yi Tianyun was stunned. Zhu Yuxuan couldn't wait to catch his sister. Was it all an act? If Zhu Yuxuan didn't stop him, he would have told her where Zhu Yue was. After all, Deacon Huang didn't reveal the reason why she left. "Just bring this jade pendant back?" Zhu Yuxuan smiled. Tears fell from her eyes. "Even if the Zhu family is destroyed, at least my sister is gone." Chapter 147. Yi Tianyun found a place to settle down, not too far away, just inside Tianjin City. He was not in a hurry to leave. 3 months is still quite long, so he was in a hurry along the way. So the situation is not too bad. It didn't take much time. He opened his hand and looked at the jade pendant in his hand, and sighed deeply. He finally knew why Zhu Yuxuan has a good impression of him. He has been concealing the news of Zhu Yuxuan, naturally can make her have a good impression, and not hostile to him. This is enough to prove that Zhu Yuxuan is not lying to him, but has been acting before. The play just now is too realistic, but if it is not realistic, how can those deacons believe it? Now he has enough reason to believe that Zhu Yue can't be found for so long, but because of interference. If it wasn't for the fact that the Earth border continent is too big, maybe they can find it by exploring occasionally. It is very likely that Zhu Yuxuan interfered with them, so they can't find it. But even she doesn't know where Zhu Yue went. To keep this secret, the best way is to keep it a secret. At most, she knows that it is in the Earth border continent, but she naturally doesn't know the details. Could it be that Pavilion Master Z? No, Pavilion Master Zhu worked so hard for the Star Pavilion? Yi Tianyun was silent, thinking about it carefully. Zhu Yue is very persistent. At that time, she was extremely eager to let him stay, in order to stabilize her position and then grasp the real power. If there is no real power, there is no right to speak, then everything is in vain. Relying on outsiders is always meaningless. Only when I become stronger can I control everything. Yi Tianyun's eyes are cold. He now feels that he is still too weak. Facing the pressure of Qing Xian Mansion, he must force himself to become stronger quickly. If it is an ordinary cultivator, it is estimated that they would have already accepted their fate. But he is different. Since he can be resurrected here, then he will not admit defeat. Start refining, sell everything for crazy points. Yi Tianyun took out the materials to refine a soul tool. When he was ready to refine, the success rate is so low that it really makes him want to vomit blood. 20% success rate is really too low. He shook his head. It is similar to his previous estimate. Activate Luck Aura. After activating the Lucky Aura, the probability increased from 20% to 50%. Why isn't it a 100% success rate? Yi Tianyun was dumbfounded. His lucky halo should be able to increase his luck by 10 times, but in reality, there was no such thing as a 100% success rate. After further inspection, Yi Tianyun realized that the effect could only be so great. The success rate could only reach 50%. In the later stages, he could only rely on his own strength to increase his success rate. He could not rely on his luck alone to reach a 100% success rate. This is the same principle as in the heavens immersing ancient ruins. You can find the array core by luck, but without the corresponding level, you won't know how to crack it. Just relying on luck was not enough. Knowledge was also needed. Looks like the system is still fair. It won't do if you don't have the ability. Tianyun shook his head. Although it was a pity, he accepted it. If it was completely universal, it would be too heaven-defying. The success rate of crafting a heaven-level weapon is less than 10%. It would be ridiculous if the success rate was increased to 100% under the terrifying luck. This meant that those who didn't know much in the first place were forced to learn it. This was no longer luck, but foul play. Even so, a 50% success rate is already amazing. At least a 50% success rate is quite surprising. No, I still have the forging hammer. He remembered that he still has a little thing, a small hammer. After equipping it, the success rate suddenly increased from 50% to 60%. Very good little thing. Yi Tianyun's eyes lit up. He has never used such a thing before. The main reason is that the success rate is 100%, so there is not much point in equipping it. But now that he thought about it, the effect is quite good after equipping it. Start crafting. Yi Tianyun immediately began to refine, using immortal fire to melt the materials, and then continue to quench them. Ding! Successfully crafting low-grade soul tool. Reward, 10,000 EXP, proficiency plus 500. Finally, after refining for half a day, he successfully crafted a low-grade soul tool. 10,000 EXP, not bad? Yi Tianyun's eyes lit up. The experience gained from crafting a soul tool is not bad, but it takes a long time. Otherwise, it would be a good way to cultivate. It takes half a day to successfully craft one. He can only craft 30 to 40 in a month. It is obviously not cost-effective. Let's see how much I can sell it for. Yi Tianyun clicked on the inventory and chose to sell this low-grade soul tool. Suddenly the system popped up a message. Price, 10,000 crazy point. 10,000 000 crazy point? Lee Tianyun thinks it's okay. In the case of not killing monsters crazily, it's already very good to be able to sell a tool at this price. This method is not dangerous and relatively safe, but it is more time-consuming. After refining this batch, I'll go and see if there are any monsters nearby that I can kill. Lee Tianyun decided to finish this batch first, and then upgrade to crazy mode. After that, he can go out and kill monsters to level up. After that, he continued to forge. There were successes and failures in forging soul armaments. Although the success rate was as high as 60%, there was still a chance of failure. Ding, successfully upgraded Immortal Fire to Earth level. Flame effect increased tenfold. Refining time and alchemy time reduced by half. Success rate increased. The next level requires 10,000 proficiency. A piece of information that suddenly popped up made his spirit jolt. He had almost forgotten that the inextinguishable flame could be upgraded. Because whether it is refining pills or weapons, it can only increase one proficiency, so he forgot about it for so long. He just completed the proficiency, and the effect that popped out surprised him. Not only the refining time is shortened, but also the success rate is increased. This immortal fire is really a good thing. No, as long as I upgrade it, the effect will definitely not be bad. Lee Tianyun was pleasantly surprised. In this way, the refining time that originally took half a day can be successfully refined in less than half a day. Let's see how much the success rate has increased. He checked the situation and found that the success rate has increased to 80%. Another 2 levels, although not very high, but it is quite amazing. It's a pity that if I want to improve the proficiency of this thing, I need to have the same flame. In addition to buying it in the shop, there is really no other way to improve it. Tianyun shook his head, looking at the 10,000 crazy point in the shop. He can only silently shake his head. Chapter 148. With the earth-grade inextinguishable flame, the speed at which he refined the weapon increased, especially the success rate. 15 sets of materials were refined in a few days. It would have taken more than 10 days before, but now it has been shortened to a few days. I'm selling them all. Lee Tianyun didn't hesitate and sold the 12 soul tools in one go, 3 of which failed and broke. When all of them were sold, the value of Crazy Point jumped to more than 1.01 million. His heart jumped. Enough for 1 million. When he saw the value, he was very excited. He finally reached 1 million Crazy Point. This is a value that was unimaginable before, but now it is abruptly reached. Level up. Without hesitation, he immediately chose to level up Crazy Mode. This is the most important divine skill. Not only can it increase damage, but also increase experience. There are other scattered effects, but they all have great advantages. Ding, deducting 1 million Crazy Point, successfully leveled up Crazy Mode to level 3. Crazy Mode level 3, all effects enhanced to 8 times, can selectively enhance damage, experience multiplier. Due to leveling up to level 3, proficiency multiplier increased by 2 times. Consumes 1,000 Crazy Point per minute. The next level requires 10 million Crazy Point. Lee Tianyun was happy. The effect has been enhanced to 8 times, the same as the previous calculation. At this rate, the next level is 16 times. A full 16 times damage or experience is crazy enough. Now there is another effect, that is to increase proficiency by 2 times. It is also a pleasant surprise. He has enough reason to believe that there will be more times in the future, or other modes will be added, such as Crazy Point doubling mode. These are all possible. 1,000 Crazy Point per minute, it is more cost-effective than Lucky Aura. When Lee Tianyun saw the amount of Crazy Point consumed, it is actually not a big problem. Consuming 1,000 Crazy Point per minute is not a big problem. Lucky Aura is calculated in seconds, while Crazy Mode is calculated in minutes. Of course, it is more cost-effective. Right, there are still 10 lottery draws. Let's finish them all. Immediately, Lee Tianyun immediately opened the lottery roulette because the rewards above are not so tempting to him, so he basically doesn't draw anymore. Of course, he would be more than happy to give it to him in exchange for lottery chances. Very quickly, he finished the 10 lucky draws and obtained many things, but they were all experience pills, some weapons, and some defensive equipment. There were no divine skills at all. Either he didn't have the corresponding godly skill, or he couldn't draw it. They're all relatively ordinary stuff. It's a pity that I didn't get life this time. He was basically indifferent to the items in the lottery. They were not very useful to him. As a spirit core stage cultivator, what else did he need? In particular, the standard of these items was relatively low. They were all common iron-grade weapons and armor, which were not very useful to him at all. He nodded, feeling that it was about time to go out and gather some information. He had been in this room for a whole week. When he walked down the stairs, he heard the discussion before he even walked down the stairs. I don't know what's going on, but many experts from the Qingxian mansion have been dispatched. I saw 7 or 8 giant eagles, but I don't know where they went. I heard that they are going to seek revenge. It seems that some sect killed their disciple, and now they are going to seek revenge. What? Which sect is so powerful that they dare to go against the Qingxian mansion? The Holen was talking about this matter, and it was quite lively. Yi Tianyun's face changed, and he quickly came in front of them. He slapped a gold ingot on the table and said in a deep voice, "Who knows the current situation of the Qingxian mansion? Tell me, and this gold ingot is yours." The faces of the guests who were slapped on the table darkened, and they felt that Yi Tianyun was very rude. But when they saw the gold ingot, their eyes suddenly lit up. I know. One of the cultivators immediately stood up and said, "I know the situation. The one who provoked the Qingxian mansion is a 3rd-grade sect, and they are very strong. It seems that they killed the elder of the Qingxian mansion." What do you know? If you don't know, then don't talk nonsense. I heard that it is a 1st-grade sect who provoked the Qingxian mansion, and it seems that they killed the elder of the Qingxian mansion. That's why they sent so many experts. How can a 1st-grade sect kill the elder of the Qingxian mansion? Aren't you talking nonsense? It is at least a 3rd-grade sect who can kill the elder of the Qingxian mansion. The two of them began to quarrel. They didn't believe that a 1st-grade sect could kill the elder of the Qingxian mansion. The elder of the Qingxian mansion was at least at the spirit core stage, so how could a 1st-grade sect kill him? Unless the elder was lying on the ground, and they could kill him at will. You tell me. Yi Tianyun pointed at the cultivator who said that a 1st-grade sect killed the elder. Let me tell you? The cultivator said excitedly, I just heard that a 1st-level faction offended the profound Azure Mansion. That's about it, that's all. When did this happen? Yi Tianyun asked. It happened a few days ago. Today, people from the Qingxian mansion started to go to the Earth border continent. I don't know what they are going to do. The cultivator said hurriedly. It happened a few days ago? Yi Tianyun's face darkened. He thought that he would have 3 months to prepare, but now, in less than a month, they have already started to move. This was too fast. He was silent for a while, then turned around and said, "This gold ingot is yours." After that, he disappeared from the door. The cultivator was stunned at first, then immediately picked up the gold ingot and said ecstatically, "Great, this gold is mine." How is this possible? You are talking nonsense. How can a 1st-grade sect kill the elder of the Qingxian mansion? I am not talking nonsense, this is what I heard. I don't know if it is true or not, but anyway, he believed me. They began to quarrel, not believing each other's words. No matter how they quarrel, Yi Tianyun can no longer hear them, and hurriedly rushed out of the city. Things have changed a bit, the reaction speed is a bit faster, but it will take a while to find the heavens immersing ancient ruins. Yi Tianyun thought about it. This can be said that the plan cannot keep up with the changes. 3 months' time has been compressed to 1 month. At most, he can wander outside for half a month. In half a month, he can definitely find the hiding place of Jade Palace in Qingxian Mansion, but he can't wander outside at will. After all, it was better to be safe than sorry. If something really happened, then it would really be over. When he quickly retreated, someone immediately looked at his figure and wanted to chase after him, but in the end, they retreated back to Star Pavilion. Elder Huang, that person has already left, It seems that he inquired about the news of Qingxian Mansion and then quickly left. The whole heavenly new city is full of spies, so they know every move of Yi Tianyun, and they know everything he does. After knowing the news of Qingxian Mansion, he immediately left. Elder Huang squinted. If it was before, we should have guessed that he has something to do with Qingxian Mansion, but now it seems that it doesn't matter. Then it has something to do with Jade Palace. Is he from Jade Palace? But that's not right. Jade Palace is just a first-grade sect. How can there be such a young male disciple? Their information is limited. From the previous reminder of Yi Tianyun, they can determine that it has nothing to do with Qingxian Mansion. If it has something to do with Qingxian Mansion, then it is absolutely impossible to say that Qingxian Mansion will be destroyed. What do we do now? The guard next to him asked. Investigate Jade Palace in detail. Elder Huang said solemnly, I want to see if Zhu Yue is in Jade Palace. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.